The Priestess's time travel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 Ancient Dandy 7. The Marquis had an expression of disbelief. Su Qingni said, "If father doesn't believe me, I will ask 2 female technicians who specialize in massage to come and give you a massage, so that you can experience it yourself." The Marquis snorted, "No need. I don't want those lowly people to get their dirty hands on me." Su Qingni. Although these technicians are from brothels, mainly because decent girls are unwilling to do this kind of service to men, the technicians at the beauty salon are from decent girls, but they are not dirty. They are also innocent girls. They are still virgins. Su Qingni, my son also has some skills in massage. Father, do you want to feel it? The Marquis. The Marquis was silent for a while and nodded. At this moment, he saw that his youngest son had no guilt at all, and felt that it seemed that his eldest and second sons had misunderstood him. Why not try his son's skills? Su Qingni looked at Su Qingni and left the study room tactfully. He also felt that he had misunderstood Su Qingni, but he absolutely did not want to admit his mistake to Su Qingni. Su Qingni sneered in her heart, and asked the Marquis to lie on the couch on one side of the study, rolled up the sleeves of both hands above the elbows, and pressed the index and middle fingers of both hands on the Marquis' temples. Su Qingni was very familiar with the acupuncture points of the human body, and knew where to press for the best effect. Her strength was neither light nor heavy, and the Marquis felt very comfortable and soon fell asleep. Half an hour later, the Marquis woke up, feeling relaxed and comfortable. Seeing Su Qingni standing by, the Marquis's dislike for the son disappeared by half. "Yes, your masha chicken technique is very good. It is indeed as you said, not that kind of lowly behavior." The Marquis said, "You should manage the amusement park well." After speaking, he waved his hand to let Su Qingni leave. Su Qingni left the Marquis' study. The corners of her mouth twitched slightly, smiled silently, turned around and strode away. On the second day, Madame Hao took a group of ladies she invited to the amusement park. Su Qingni did not show up to avoid suspicion, and only arranged for the person in charge of the beauty salon to receive the ladies. This person in charge, Jins, was specially selected and trained by Su Qingni. She is capable and has a cheerful and generous personality. She was originally a descendant of a criminal official. She was no worse than the ladies in terms of etiquette and rules for receiving guests. Now she is able to receive the ladies with ease and calmness. There are also hot springs in the beauty salon. Jins arranged a technician and 2 assistants for each guest to serve the guests in the hot springs first. There are also guests who do not want to take a bath outside, so they go directly into the warm and elegant room, and the technician helps them wash their faces and start beauty care. There are actors who specialize in playing the piano in the room, playing soothing music, making the guests dizzy and sleepy. After a facial massage and a head massage, the guests washed and looked in the glass mirror Su Qingni had someone make it. Only one batch was made, and it was said to be purchased from overseas. The profit of glass was too great, and she did not want to get herself into trouble. She did not disclose the glass manufacturing formula, and she did not intend to run the glass business. Seeing her smoother skin and radiant face, all the female customers were very satisfied. Then she asked the makeup artist to paint beautiful makeup on them, modern nude makeup, so that each customer's beauty was improved. The guests were excited. After that, Su Qingni's beauty salon could be described as swarming with customers. Su Qingni's mind was not on the beauty salon. After assigning the construction work of the second phase of the entertainment park, he hired a few poor scholars with good writing skills and asked them to write scripts according to the outline he said, and then compiled the scripts into dramas and plays, and performed them in the song and dance theater. The wonderful plot attracted many people to watch, and the new performance form of drama was gradually accepted by people. Apart from these things, Su Qingni no longer cared about anything, and spent all day in the entertainment circle to have fun and kill time. The second phase of the project was completed soon, and the hunting ground and the gambling horse field attracted more popularity. Because there were many guests, the entertainment park was very profitable. Su Qingni earned back all the costs invested by the Marquis's wife, and his private house also increased a lot. Even if the Marquis's mansion did not give him property in the future, he would have enough money to enjoy his life and would not be as poor as the original owner. However, in order to prevent others from coveting the entertainment park, Su Qingni asked the staff in the park to intentionally or unintentionally reveal that it would cost a lot of money to maintain the normal operation of the entertainment park, and the money earned was just enough to maintain the operation of the entertainment park. Therefore, the owner of the park could not become extremely rich because of the entertainment park. When this kind of word spread, some people who were jealous of the entertainment park's good business and wanted to seize the entertainment park gave up their thoughts. If it can't bring them a lot of money, this entertainment park is better off gone. Only the dandy who is dedicated to pleasure will continue to operate this kind of existence. That is the paradise he built for himself. Su Qingni smiled at the corners of her mouth. How could those guys who only have money in their eyes know that the biggest gain of the entertainment park is not money, but a little information leaked by the flow of people? With all this information gathered together, the entire capital city had no secrets in Su Qingni's eyes. For example, the plans of those who wanted to seize the amusement park, would they really give up the amusement park because of the words of the staff? Of course not, but Su Qingni responded to them so that they had no intention of planning the amusement park. 6 years passed in Su Qingni's enjoyment. This year was the year when the Marquis died. Su Qingni had to leave the amusement park and return to the Marquis's mansion, and honestly stayed in a courtyard of the Marquis's mansion to mourn for the Marquis. Brother Su Qingni, finally became the head of the family, and Sister Su became the head of the family. Although Sister Su was on the surface, the pride and happiness in her eyes could not be concealed. It's so arrogant that it's annoying. Mrs. Hao couldn't stand Sister Su's appearance, and said with disdain and anger. Because of the transfer of housekeeper power, Mrs. Hao's power and status in the Marquis's mansion declined a lot. Some servants who took advantage of the situation had turned their heads to Sister Su, which made Mrs. Hao even more upset. Mother doesn't like my eldest sister-in-law, so I won't see her anymore. Su Qingni comforted the Marquis' wife. How can I not see her? We all live in the same mansion, and we won't see each other anywhere. The Marquis' wife sighed. That's exactly what I want to say. Su Qingni said, once the mourning period for father is over, my eldest brother and his wife will definitely bring up the issue of dividing the family and separate my second brother and me from the Marquis' mansion. They dare? I'm still here. The Marquis' wife glared. If they don't divide the family while my parents are still here, do they think I'm dead? Chapter 27 Ancient Dandy 8. Madame Hao glared. They don't divide the family while my parents are still alive. Do they think I'm dead? Mother, a woman should obey her husband after marriage and her son after her husband's death. My elder brother and sister-in-law will definitely use this rule to deal with it. Su Qingni said, in fact, it's better to divide the family. Living together, we have to live according to the moods of my elder brother and sister-in-law. It's better to be the master of the family after the division. Madame Hao was silent for a moment and nodded. That's good. You have an amusement park now, and you won't live worse if you leave the Marquis mansion. Su Qingni took a sip of tea and said, I want mother to live with me and leave the Marquis mansion. In this way, mother will not see my sister-in-law, and can help me manage the family and take care of Finger. Su Lifeng is Su Qingni's adopted son. He has been taken care of by Madame Hao since he was born. Madame Hao and Su Lifeng have a very deep relationship, just like Madame Hao and her youngest son. Madame Hao gave most of her private property to her youngest son, but in fact, it was also given to this grandson, because they are father and son. Isn't this bad? Your eldest brother is the eldest son and has the responsibility to support his parents. The Marquis's wife was moved. How could she not be tempted to live with her beloved youngest son and grandson without having to look at the face of her eldest daughter-in-law? However, Su Qingni smiled and said, it is a common practice for the eldest son to support his parents, but there are exceptions. To the outside world, we can just say that you go to my house to help me take care of my grandson. Anyway, I don't have a wife, and the family needs a hostess to manage it. Internally, the eldest sister-in-law is eager for mother to leave. We just need to work hard on her and let the eldest sister-in-law persuade the eldest brother. But, mother, you have to take good care of your private property. The eldest sister-in-law has coveted your private property for a long time, and I'm afraid she will act secretly. The Marquis's wife snorted, don't worry, I've been on guard against her. She can't get my private property at all. Su Qingni said, tomorrow I will send a cook into the mansion and let her be responsible for your diet. From now on, mother will cook in her own yard and don't eat meals in the big kitchen anymore. The Marquis' wife quickly reacted. She was so angry that she slapped the rosewood low table and said angrily, okay, you want me to die? Why did I let my eldest brother marry such a vicious woman? Su Qingni said, you can't know a person's heart by his appearance. Mother, don't be angry. It's not worth it to ruin yourself for such a person. How could the Marquis' wife not be angry? She said angrily, how can I not be angry? She is thinking about my private property. I think she is doing it for my son and grandson. I can tolerate her. I didn't expect that she would calculate my life. How can I bear it? King Guyan, go and call the eldest brother. I want to ask him if he allows his wife to calculate his mother's life. Su Qingni hurriedly said, Mother, the eldest sister-in-law is just calculating, and has not yet implemented it. We don't have any evidence. I'm afraid that my eldest brother will not believe us. He will think that we are wronging the eldest sister-in-law, which will further damage our impression in his heart. The Marquis' wife was discouraged after hearing this. The eldest son is not close to her, and she is also partly responsible. After all, he is her own flesh and blood, and the Marquis still has feelings for her eldest son. Before her eldest son got married, their relationship was pretty good. But he forgot his mother after he got married. After her eldest son got married, he listened to too much pillow talk and completely favored his daughter-in-law, and his relationship with his mother became more and more distant. Forget it. The Marquis sighed, just pretend that I don't have this son. Su Qingni put her right hand on the back of the Marquis's left hand and said comfortingly, Mother, you still have me. And your second brother, although your relationship with your second brother is a little distant, your second brother is still filial to you. The Marquis responded, and after a while, she said, then leave a small half of my private money for your second brother. Su Qingni couldn't help but smile. The next day, Su Qingni sent the cook to the Marquis's yard. After that, the Marquis started cooking in her own yard, which made Su's sister-in-law Nai's plan to use the principle of food incompatibility to harm the Marquis's body all fail. Nai was so angry that she bit the silk handkerchief in her hand to pieces. She had to give up this plan temporarily and turn to seize the Marquis's private property. The Marquis's wife was taking a nap on the chaise longue when Nanny Li walked in quietly and came to her side. Madam, Dongsu has already taken action. The Marquis's wife hummed, without opening her eyes, and said, when do you think they will find out that the things they exchanged with so much effort are worthless fakes? Nanny Li smiled and said, the eldest young lady has her own private room and is not short of money. She will not use the things that were exchanged for the time being. And the things in Madam's storehouse, although they are fakes, the craftsmen introduced by the third young master are very skilled and made the fakes extremely exquisite. The maids and old women have limited knowledge and will not find out that the things are fake. In my opinion, I am afraid that the eldest young lady will not know that the things she took the trouble to exchange are fake for many years, right? The Marquis's wife also laughed. I really want to see her expression when she finds out that the things are all fakes. Will she vomit blood? Nanny Li smiled and said, Madam will definitely be able to see it. The Marquis's wife waved her hand, and Nanny Li tiptoed out of the room again. As soon as the mourning period for the Marquis was over, Su Qingni, under the instigation of Su's eldest sister-in-law Nai, really proposed to separate the family. Su Qingni and Su Qingni had no objection. Su Qingni was a civil official with the support of the Yu family. He was not on the same path as the nobles and generals of the Marquis's mansion. It would be better to separate early, so that his future would not be too restricted by the family. The only accident during the separation was the Marquis's wife. She agreed to the separation, but was unwilling to live with the eldest son's family and wanted to live with the youngest son. Su Qingni disagreed at first. He was the eldest son of the Marquis's mansion. It was his responsibility to support his mother. If his mother did not live with him, wouldn't he be accused of being unfilial? I'm afraid that some of his political enemies would attack him for this reason. The Marquis's wife said, you don't have to worry about others saying that you are unfilial. I will explain it to you personally. Just say that I can't bear to leave my youngest son and grandson, and go to King Guyu's house to help him take care of Finger. Su Qingni still didn't agree, but Su's eldest sister-in-law was very moved. She didn't want to support her mother-in-law at all, but unfortunately the Marquis's wife was very cautious about food, so she couldn't do anything. Since she couldn't kill her mother-in-law, it would be a very good idea to live separately. Besides, her mother-in-law's private room had been emptied by her, and there was no benefit in keeping her in the Marquis's mansion. It would be better to drive her away quickly. When her mother-in-law finds out that her private room is full of fakes, haha, it has nothing to do with her. Nai then began to whisper in her husband's ear, listing the benefits of letting the Marquis's wife live with Su Qingni. In the end, Su Qingni was convinced by her and agreed to the Marquis's wife's request. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 Ancient Dandy 9. 3 years after the separation, the son of the original owner was already 8 years old. Su Qingni hired a well-educated man as a teacher for him to study. Although the child was spoiled by the Marquis, it may be because he did not have a biological mother and his biological father was not in tune. The child was mature at a young age and was not spoiled by the Marquis. He became the second of the original owner. Instead, he was very sensible and loved reading like his second uncle. Since his son loved reading and he was not short of money, Su Qingni found the best teacher for him. The child was also very competitive and learned a lot. His teacher said that the child could take the Tongsheng exam. However, Su Qingni felt that the child was too young and that the pressure of going to school too early was not good for the child's psychology, so she restricted the child to continue studying hard and stipulated that he should take the exam when he was older. The Marquis felt sorry for her grandson's hard work in studying. She prepared food for her grandson every day and asked about her grandson's well-being. These things took her almost half a day, making the Marquis busy and happy, and in good health. Unlike the timeline in which the original owner existed, at this time, Madame Hao had been harmed by Nai and was lying on the bed, on the verge of death. Mother. Su Qingni called Madame Hao, lifted the curtain and walked into the room. Madame Hao said with a slight reproach, "You are so old, but you are still so irritable." Su Qingni laughed and said to Madame Hao, "Mother, let me tell you an interesting story to cheer you up." "What is it?" Madame Hao asked in confusion. Su Qingni smiled and said, "Sister-in-law finally found out that the things she stole from your private vault were fake. She was so angry that she vomited blood and had Dong Su beaten half to death." Haha. The Marquis's wife laughed heartily after hearing this. They deserve it. One of them betrayed her master, and the other was unfilial and greedy for money. Su Qingni smiled and said, "Sister-in-law is lying in bed now and can't get up. Dong Su is even more miserable. Although she is eldest brother's woman, eldest sister-in-law did not fulfill her promise to her and gave her the status of concubine. She is a maid. She was beaten with a stick and there was no maid to take care of her, let alone a doctor to treat her. I'm afraid her life cannot be saved." Haha, I don't know how eldest brother will react. The Marquis's wife sighed and said, "Your eldest brother doesn't know that the two of them stole from my private vault. I guess he won't react. He just thinks that his wives and concubines are jealous of each other." Su Qingni laughed in her heart. Su Qingni is a smart man. Would he not notice that his wife was plotting against the Marquis's private vault? Maybe he pretended not to know, thinking that his wife would transfer his mother's private property to his own side. After all, according to his mother's partiality to his younger brother, those private properties would hardly be his share. Su Qingni did not speak out this guess. After all, Su Qingni was the Marquis's biological son. Even if she was disappointed with his son, the Marquis still had some feelings and expectations for him. Did she see anything that made the Marquis unhappy? Did the Marquis only scold the eldest daughter-in-law and rarely scold the eldest son? The Marquis asked in confusion. "It's only been a short time since the family was divided, and the Nai family wants to touch my private property? They got a lot of property, and the Nai family also has a lot of dowry and private property. Why are they thinking of touching my private property?" Su Qingni knew the inside story very well. Now she was the person who knew the most secrets and information in the entire capital. Su Qingni lowered her voice and said, "My eldest brother secretly joined the third prince and used his own money to help the third prince do some things. The money in the public treasury of the Marquis mansion was almost used up, and my eldest sister-in-law didn't want to touch her dowry and private property, so she asked someone to take the things stolen from you to exchange for money, and then she found out that all the things were fake." The Marquis's wife frowned tightly. "Why is your eldest brother so confused? Is it so easy to get the merit of following the dragon? If you make a wrong bet, the whole Marquis mansion will be finished." Su Qingni said, "My eldest brother should be confident. After all, the third prince is the biological son of the queen. Not only does he have a high status, but he is also quite capable." The Marquis's wife said, "But the third prince is not the crown prince. The crown prince is still here." Su Qingni sighed lightly. The crown prince's position is unstable. The marquis's wife also sighed when she heard this. This is something that the nobles know tacitly. The crown prince is the son of the emperor's previous queen. He occupies the status of the eldest son, so he is named the crown prince. However, without the help of his mother and no one to whisper in his ear, the prince was not favored or valued by the emperor. Everyone felt that the emperor did not want his son to be his heir, and he might abolish the prince's position one day. Therefore, the prince's position in the court was very embarrassing, and even no ministers and capable people came to the prince. However, this prince still had some means. According to the information Su Qingni had heard, the prince was honest on the surface, and in front of the emperor and the court officials, he looked worried and afraid that he would be abolished. In fact, he was really worried and afraid, but secretly, the prince had already started to lay out. The high-ranking court officials did not think highly of him, so he secretly won over those small officials, and trained talents himself, and sent these talents to the officialdom through imperial examinations. According to Su Qingni, among the lower-level officials, a quarter were already on the prince's side, and some even entered the class of middle-level officials. These officials looked inconspicuous, but they all got to key positions. Even if the prince launched a mutiny and killed all the officials who disobeyed him in the court, as long as he had his own people in these key positions, the court and the government would be able to operate. And this prince might really mutiny. The talents cultivated by the prince are not only the civil servants who participated in the imperial examinations, but he also cultivated warriors to join the army, and they gradually became famous. There are people from the prince and the border army, the guards of the capital, and the imperial guards of the palace. In addition, the prince also raised a team of private soldiers. The number is not large, only about 1,000 people, but everyone is loyal to the prince. In order to raise these private soldiers, the prince needs a lot of money, so he secretly organized a caravan to help him make money. The person in charge of business management has a good economic mind and vision. He also took a fancy to Su Qingni's amusement park, but he was very smart and did not want to seize it like others, but took the initiative to come to Su Qingni to discuss cooperation. He obtained the production and operation rights of facial cleansers, essential oils and other skincare products and cosmetics from Su Qingni, and sold these products to other places outside the capital, making a lot of profit. Therefore, the two parties cooperated quite happily. Knowing the superiors from the people below, it seems that the prince is also a person with vision and heart, plus he can endure and pretend. Su Qingni thinks that it should be good to have such a person as emperor, at least his own entertainment park can be well preserved. Chapter 29 Ancient Dandy 10. Su Qingni smashed a vase in his study. Stupid woman, what a stupid woman. This was the first time that Su Qingni was so dissatisfied and angry with his wife. How could this woman be so stupid? Su Qingni actually wronged Su Qingni. Su Qingni was not aware of the conspiracy between Niangniang Su to steal the private treasury of the marquis's wife. Although he was dissatisfied with the marquis's partiality, how could the marquis's wife's private property be more than the property of the marquis's mansion? He was the legitimate heir to the marquis's mansion, and the marquis's mansion belonged to him. At that time, he did not use all the money of the marquis's mansion to support the third prince. With money in his hands, how could he possibly think about his mother's private treasury? Even still? You know, if this matter is discovered, it will be a crime of unfilial piety. He lives a good life, how can he do such a stupid thing? Su Qingni thought that his wife just loved power and money a little, but he did not expect that she would be so stupid as to calculate her mother-in-law's private property, and she failed in her calculation and was treated as an idiot by the marquis's wife. Su Qingni thought that the marquis's wife must leave the house with his brother and live separately. He thought that the marquis's wife was partial. Now it seems that his mother was angry about Nai's theft, but she didn't make a fuss about it for his sake. His mother did it for his face. Thinking of this, the shallow mother-son relationship in Su Qingni's heart rose again. He remembered that his mother used to care about him, but not as much as for his third brother. His mother was still dedicated to him. She carefully arranged maids to take care of him and would ask about his daily life. When did he become so distant from his mother that he was like a stranger, and even felt extremely dissatisfied and resentful towards her? It seemed that after he got married, his wife Nai often told him that his mother didn't like her, that his mother always found reasons to torture her, that his mother was dissatisfied with his eldest son and didn't like her daughter-in-law, and that she, the heir's wife, couldn't even touch the housekeeper's power. His mother must want to give the housekeeper's power to his third brother's wife, saying. Su Qingxin's face became more and more ugly. He found that he was actually influenced by a woman and instigated by a woman to be alienated from his mother and brothers. I was stupid, and wouldn't I be even more stupid to be played around by her? Someone come here. Su Qingxin called out, and his trusted follower lifted the curtain and walked in. Su Qingxin ordered his men to investigate what Nai had done since she came in. Now he had doubts about Nai and his impression of her dropped drastically. He thought that Nai had done more than just stealing the private property of the Marcus wife, and there might be other things to instigate the relationship between them. He must find out. Thinking of Nai vomiting blood because she found out that the stolen things were all fakes and that she was fooled by her mother, Su Qingxin couldn't help laughing. Nai had some means, but how could they compare with his mother? His mother had been in charge of the Marquis's mansion for decades, and her means were very clever. Marcus, Dongsu is dead. The servant reported to Su Qingxin. She's dead, tell me what to do. Su Qingxin was unhappy. Dongsu looked honest on the surface, but she was a traitor. He asked why his mother sent Dongsu to him before leaving the mansion. He thought his mother sent the maid to him just to annoy Nai, but it turned out that his mother had known that Dongsu had betrayed her master, so she sent Dongsu here to warn him and Nai. The servant was about to leave, but Su Qingxin stopped him again and said, let Dongsu's mother take her body back and tell her mother that Dongsu was beaten to death because she angered the lady. The servant agreed, and there was a moment of strangeness on his face. Is the Marcus trying to attract hatred for the lady? Although Dongsu's death was indeed ordered by the lady, it is one thing for everyone to know it, and it is another thing for the Marcus to say it so carelessly. The servant didn't think about it anymore and quickly left. After dealing with family affairs, Su Qingxin thought of official business again. The amount of money the third prince wanted was getting more and more. Even if he wanted to win over ministers, he wouldn't need so much money. There's only one possibility for so much money. The third prince raised private soldiers? Su Qingxin took a breath. The third prince is really bold. If the emperor finds out that he has private soldiers, it will be a disaster. Even if the third prince is the queen's biological son and the emperor's favorite son, he will not be spared. Su Qingxin couldn't help but feel a little scared. He stood up and paced in the study room, frowning more than before. Should I persuade the third prince to give up the idea of raising private soldiers? After all, the position of the crown prince is unstable. Everyone can see that the third prince is the legitimate son and is valued and loved by the emperor. When the crown prince is abolished in the future, he will be the one to take the throne. Why do you want to do such a reckless thing? Isn't it better to wait for the throne honestly? Isn't it better to be more patient? Su Qingxin walked to the door of the study several times but retreated, and never walked out of the study door. He still knows the third prince well. The third prince will not change his decision once he makes it, and he will not listen to him even if he persuades him. Alice, the worst thing about the third prince is that he is stubborn and conceited. Alice, I don't know which bastard gave the third prince such a bad idea. Su Qingxin didn't persuade the third prince in the end. He only comforted himself in his heart that the third prince was doing things secretly and the emperor would not find out more about the existence of his private soldiers. Moreover, with private soldiers, the third prince had great power and security. Comforting himself like this, Su Qingxin no longer bothered about the third prince raising private soldiers. But he never gave money to the third prince again. The third prince didn't say much. After all, Su Qingxin had taken out a lot of silver before. A few days later, the confidant reported the news to Su Qingxin. Su Qingxin didn't care too much when he saw Nai attacking several of his concubines, causing them to either abort or never give birth again. After all, he valued legitimate sons and daughters more, and he already had 2 legitimate sons. When he saw Nai reaching out to his younger brother's yard and the third brother's wife died of dystocia because of Nai's actions, Su Qingxin's face darkened. Although he didn't like his brother, he didn't think badly of his brother's family, and he even killed someone. Su Qingxin felt Nai's viciousness, and his originally declining impression of her fell to the bottom. This woman is so vicious, what else is there that she dare not do? She really dares to do it. After Su Qingxin saw that Nai had arranged people in the big kitchen and wanted to use the principle of food incompatibility to harm his own mother, he was so angry that he wanted to kill someone. Poisonous woman, why did I marry such a poisonous woman? Su Qingxin regretted it. Why was he deceived by Nai in the first place, and rejected the wife candidate chosen by his mother for him? and was determined to marry Nai. This woman is the root of the disaster. He thought of the fact that Su Qingni sent a cook to his mother. I'm afraid that his mother and his third brother knew about Nai's calculations, right? Chapter 30 Ancient Andy 11. I'm afraid that my mother and my third brother know about Nai's plan? Did they say that they didn't believe me or that I was an accomplice of Nai? Did my mother blame me? That's why she wanted to leave the Marcus mansion? Su Qingni regretted it. Come on, prepare the horse. The Marcus wife was asking someone to prepare snacks and sweet soup for her grandson, and heard the servants report that the Marcus came to see the old lady. The Marcus wife snorted coldly. See me? How can he have time to see me? Li Mama reminded in a low voice, is it because of your private affairs? He still has the face to come to me. The Marcus wife was angry. Li Mama hurriedly said, maybe the eldest young master. No, it's the Marcus. The Marcus didn't know that Nai stole your private affairs. Now that the matter has been exposed, the Marcus knows about it, so he came to you to apologize. Humph, the matter was exposed a few days ago, why are you here now? Although she said so, the Marcus wife still asked someone to invite Su Qingni in. As soon as Su Qingni entered the house, he knelt down in front of the Marquis's wife and kowtowed 3 times, Mother, I am a non-filial son. The Marquis's wife was startled and quickly asked Li Ma to help Su Qingni up, while asking, what are you doing? The 3 kowtows were so hard that Su Qingni's forehead was bleeding, which frightened the Marcus again. She repeatedly asked the maid to ask for the imperial physician, but was stopped by Su Qingni. She asked the maid to apply ointment to Su Qingni to stop the bleeding. Fortunately, the injury was not serious, just a little skin was broken. So the Marquis's wife gave up the idea of asking for the imperial physician and only took the ointment to apply to Su Qingni herself. Su Qingni felt his mother's hand gently caressing his forehead, and his nose couldn't help but feel sore. He hadn't felt such tenderness for a long time. Mother, do you blame me? Su Qingni asked. What? The Marquis's wife asked in confusion. The eldest son had behaved differently since he entered the house. Did he really come to ask for forgiveness? Are you here to plead guilty because Nai stole from my private vault? Asked Madame Hao. Yes, there's more. Su Qingni knelt down again, but Madame Hao saw the opportunity and didn't let him kowtow again. You are still injured, don't kowtow. Thank you mother for your understanding. Su Qingni was touched. His mother still had him as her son in her heart. What do you mean by more? Asked Madame Hao. Su Qingni's face was filled with shame. My son is stupid. He was deceived and bewitched by the woman Nai, and he became alienated from his mother. It's all my fault. Madame Hao raised her eyebrows. Do you know everything that Nai did? Yes. Su Qingni was even more ashamed. I didn't expect Nai to be so vicious. Not only did she kill my third brother's wife, she also wanted to kill my mother. What did you say? The third daughter-in-law was killed by Nai. Madame Hao was shocked. Su Qingni was stunned for a moment. Did his mother know that the third brother's wife was killed by Nai? Wasn't he confessing himself? Would the third brother hate him as the eldest brother if he knew? Mother, will my third brother hate me? Madame Hao sighed and said, don't worry, your third brother knows clearly that this matter has nothing to do with you. He will not hate you, but only that vicious woman, Nai. Su Qingni put down his worries a little bit, and said with guilt and resentment, Mother, for your honor and danger, I will not divorce Nai. But I will never let her go. I will definitely avenge mother and my third brother's wife. Madame Hao knew what Su Qingni was going to do after hearing this. She had no pity for Nai and nodded to remind her, if you can't do it secretly, don't hide it from your honor and danger, lest they become alienated from you. Yes. Su Qingni heard that Madame Hao was thinking about the relationship between him and his 2 sons, and felt that he was nothing before, and hated Nai even more in his heart. Su Qingni walked out of Madame Hao's yard, and Su Qingni walked into Madame Hao's yard right after him. Madame Hao did not hide it from her youngest son, and told Su Qingni that Nai killed her youngest son's wife. Don't blame your elder brother. He doesn't know about it. It was all done by Nai alone. The Marquis's wife spoke for her elder son, fearing that her younger son would regard her elder son as an enemy because of this matter. Su Qingni sighed, feeling sorry for the original owner and his wife. Their miserable experiences were all due to the greed of a woman. Why was Nai so vicious? She was born in a noble family, had a generous dowry, and married into an aristocratic family like the Marquis's mansion. She would be the lady of the house in the future. She would not lack money or power. So why would she work so hard to harm others? Such a woman should not marry into an ordinary powerful family, but should be sent to the palace. I think with her viciousness and calculation, she can make a name for herself in the harem. It would be good for my eldest brother to deal with my eldest sister-in-law at this time. Su Qingni said, it's just right for him to use the excuse of being a filial wife to withdraw from the third prince's circle for a while. The marquis's wife was startled and asked hurriedly, what's going on? Did something happen to the third prince? She already knew that her youngest son was well informed. Since he had said that he would let his eldest son take shelter temporarily, she was afraid that something bad had really happened to the third prince. Su Qingni glanced around, and Nanny Li hurriedly drove all the servants out of the room and stood guard outside the door. Su Qingni lowered her voice and said to the marquis's wife, Mother, do you know why the third prince needs so much silver? The marquis's wife replied, didn't he say that he wanted to bribe the court officials? Su Qingni shook her head, why would you need so much silver to bribe the court officials? You should know that not only did my eldest brother give nearly half of the money in the marquis's mansion to the third prince, but other people also gave the third prince a lot of wealth. Add up the amount, how much do you think it is? The marquis's wife roughly calculated in her mind and took a breath of cold air. So much silver. What on earth is the third prince going to do? To raise private soldiers. Su Qingni revealed the third prince's purpose. Madame Hao took a breath again. Is the third prince crazy? If the emperor finds out, he's done for. Su Qingni laughed sarcastically. The third prince has been flattered too much over the years and has become too self-righteous. He is confident that with his abilities and connections, the emperor will not find out that he raises private soldiers. And, Su Qingni paused for a moment, and under Madame Hao's gaze of hurry up and tell me, she said, the third prince can't wait to become the emperor himself. Madame Hao was silent. The current emperor is in very good health and is estimated to live another 10 to 20 years, while the princes have grown up and can't stand it for that long. So, the third prince wanted to use his martial arts skills to help him take the throne, right? The third prince thought that raising private soldiers was a good idea, but he didn't know that he had already fallen into the trap of others. Chapter 31 Ancient Dandizai. With the status and position of the third prince, he has a high possibility of being chosen by the emperor as the heir. But now he has made such a bad move. In addition to the fact that he has become arrogant due to the smooth sailing in recent years, he was also calculated by others. Su Qingni smiled, and the prince couldn't help it. Yes, his position in the court is becoming more and more unstable now, and many court officials don't give him face as the nominal prince. The marquis's wife said, King Gao, you'd better remind your eldest brother. Su Qingni nodded. The marquis's wife sighed, the merit of following the dragon is not so easy to get. Your eldest brother did something wrong. I hope that the marquis's mansion can be preserved. If it can't be preserved, it would be best to save the lives of your eldest brother and you honor and Kanger. At this point, the marquis's wife shed tears. That's her son and grandson. Su Qingni took out a handkerchief and handed it to the marquis, and comforted her in a gentle voice, Mother, don't worry. This matter of my sister-in-law is an opportunity. As long as my brother does not participate in the plans of the third princess group in the next few days, I will definitely be able to protect the marquis's mansion. The marquis's eyes suddenly widened, and she looked at the son who she thought would never grow up in disbelief. King Gao, you. When did you grow up? When did you have the ability? Su Qingni chuckled and said, Mother, don't you know what your son is capable of? It's just that my son has made a lot of connections in the amusement park, and you can ask them to help. She did not tell the marquis's wife about the cooperation with the prince. After all, the prince's secret is not suitable to be exposed now. The marquis's wife also laughed, you kid, you have fun and have something good to do. Su Qingni, that's right. The marquis's wife laughed even more happily, and her worries about her eldest son dissipated a lot. Su Qingni returned to the marquis's mansion and gave orders to his confidants. The confidant was the one who helped Su Qingni investigate Nai. He knew why Su Qingni wanted to deal with Nai. Without any further persuasion, he took the order and left. Nai was so angry about the matter of Madame Hao's private vault that she vomited blood and has been lying in bed these days. She was not seriously ill, but just very angry. She would recover after a few more days of rest. However, she was very upset when she thought about how Madame Hao had played tricks on her. She could not get rid of the anger and her body did not get better. She lay sickly in bed. "Madam, it's time to take the medicine." The head maid brought the medicine bowl. Na looked at the medicine bowl with disgust and snorted, "Pour it out. I don't want to drink it." "Madam." The nanny beside her said disapprovingly, "How can you get better if you don't take the medicine?" Na said, "I know my health well. I'm just very angry. Whether I take the medicine or not, it won't work." "Madam." The nanny wanted to persuade her, but was interrupted by Na impatiently, "Dongsu's family is making trouble again." The nanny nodded, "Yes." Na sneered, "I am still too kind. They dare to make trouble with me for anything. Nanny-son, tie up Dongsu's family and sell them all to the coal mine. Drive all the relatives of their family out of the Marcus mansion." "Humph, do you really think that I dare not do anything to them just because they are family-born children and have a wide network of contacts in the Marcus mansion?" The nanny quickly agreed. She was accustomed to the cruelty of her master. She was Nai's confidant and helped him do a lot of evil things. Now it's just selling people to the coal mine, which is not considered evil at all. Nai never drank the bowl of medicine, and Su Qingni, who got the news, frowned and thought for a while, and gave the order again. A few days later, Nai's health did not improve, and she became weaker and weaker. Nanny was very worried. She thought that Nai's illness became serious because she did not take medicine, so she urged Nai to take medicine at every meal. Maybe Nai did not take medicine before and delayed the illness for a long time. Now the medicine is no longer effective. Nai's illness is getting worse and worse. The imperial physician said that she was not good and asked people to prepare for the funeral. A few days later, a white banner was hung at the gate of the Marcus mansion. Su Qingni asked the third prince for leave to go back to the mansion to observe the mourning for his wife. Everyone knew that Su Qingni had a good relationship with his wife. Seeing him like this, although everyone laughed at him in their hearts, the third prince still agreed to Su Qingni's resignation. There are many capable people around him, not just Su Qingni. Since then, the Marcus mansion has been closed to observe mourning, and their presence has been reduced in the social circles of the capital. Half a year later, Su Qingni saw that there were more and more talented people around the third prince, and he regretted listening to his mother and temporarily leaving the third prince's side on the pretext of mourning for his wife. Obviously, the third prince was fine, his private army was established, and more people came to him. If he didn't appear by the third prince's side again, he was afraid that the third prince would forget about him. Would all his money be invested in vain? Su Qingni hesitated and wanted to get closer to the third prince, but he took his step back just after he took it out. "Forget it, since it's my mother's request, I'll listen to her this time. I have disobeyed my mother for so many years, and now my mother forgives me. I'll listen to her. Anyway, it's only a few months before mourning is over." Just a few days after Su Qingni made up his mind, his trusted subordinate came to Su Qingni with an anxious look on his face. "My lord, the third prince has been imprisoned in the imperial clan house by the emperor." "What?" Su Qingni's hand holding the pen trembled, and the ink on the tip of the pen fell down, leaving a big black spot, ruining the landscape painting that was about to be completed. Su Qingni threw down the pen and shouted, "Why was the third prince imprisoned in the imperial clan house? What happened?" The subordinate reported. A court official reported at the grand court meeting that the third prince had raised private soldiers, and the evidence was irrefutable. The emperor sent people to check, and indeed found the third prince's private soldiers. In a rage, he imprisoned the third prince in the heavenly prison. Some officials of the third prince's faction were also ordered by the emperor to be arrested and imprisoned in the heavenly prison. "My lord, will our mansion, will it?" The subordinate did not dare to say anything more. Su Qingni's hands were shaking, and his subordinate's concerns were exactly what he was worried about. He was also a member of the third prince's faction. Would the emperor have him arrested and imprisoned in the heavenly prison? Hurry up and go to the academy to pick up the eldest and second young masters, and send them to the third master's house. Ask the old lady to take care of the eldest and second young masters. Su Qingni was afraid, but he did not lose the judgment and courage of the head of the Marquis's house, and he quickly responded. What he valued most were the two legitimate sons, and the first thing he thought of was to make arrangements for them. As for the concubines in the family, take your time, mother should not ignore them. Now, Su Qingni trusts the Marquis's wife very much? What his mother said was all right. He asked him to withdraw from the core circle of the third prince by using his wife's filial piety. Has he long been pessimistic about the third prince? Chapter 32 Ancient Dandy 13. It was a pity that he was still involved. Alice, I regretted that I only listened to Nia and not my mother. After Su Qingni arranged to send the 2 legitimate sons to Su Qingni's house, he slowly arranged to send away a group of concubines, and then waited at home, waiting for the officers and soldiers to come and arrest him and put him in the prison. However, half a month passed, a month passed, 2 months passed. Many people in the third prince's faction were beheaded or exiled. Although the third prince himself was released from the clan house, he was imprisoned. Su Qingni was fine, and the officers and soldiers did not come at all. The emperor seemed to have forgotten him. Although Su Qingni was confused, he gradually felt relieved. The matter of the third prince was settled, and he was safe. Su Qingni, who breathed a sigh of relief, went to Su Qingni's house to visit his mother and take the child back. He told the Marquis about his luck, and the Marquis sneered. What luck? You should thank your third brother. Madame Hao said, your third brother used the connections he made over the years to secretly help you, so you were able to escape. Third brother? What connections does he have? Su Qingni was surprised. It's not that he looked down on his third brother. His third brother ate, drank and had fun all day long, and did not do any work. What kind of connections would he have? Madame Hao nodded lightly. Don't look down on your third brother. You can also make connections by eating, drinking and having fun. You should know that there are many people coming in and out of the amusement park every day. What? Su Qingni was even more surprised. Can you make connections by eating, drinking and having fun? Indeed, you know a lot of people by eating, drinking and having fun, and you do have connections, but are those connections useful? Those who go to the amusement park to eat, drink and have fun are all useless playboys like his third brother. What use are they? Can they affect the court? Are you kidding? The Marquis's wife said, don't disbelieve me. You were able to escape this time because of your third brother. Otherwise, why weren't you caught? Su Qingni thought about it and said, could it be that there are really people from the court who go to this amusement park to have fun? The Marquis's wife said, I don't know about that. Seeing Su Qingni move his mouth, the Marquis's wife warned him, you should not go to see your third brother. Leave him some secrets and means to protect himself. After all, his connections are not obtained through the Marquis's mansion. Su Qingni blushed slightly and promised, my son will never covet my brother's connections. It's good that you don't covet. You should take Yuan'er and the others back. They have been scared these days. You should go back and comfort them. Although the Marquis's wife improved her relationship with her eldest son, they were not close after all. After talking for a while, she couldn't find a topic to talk about and drove them away directly. Su Qingni also missed his son. He didn't realize the Marquis's wife's disgust and happily took his son and daughter back to the Marquis's mansion. On this side, Su Qingni gave 50% of the shares of the amusement park to the prince. She was optimistic about this prince. It was inevitable that this prince would take the throne, and it seemed that the day would not be far away. When this prince ascended to that position, instead of letting him plan the amusement park, it would be better to take the initiative to give away half of the shares of the amusement park. Anyway, with his current wealth, he would not lack money, and would not end up as poor as the original owner. Moreover, who would dare to have the idea of the amusement park if he cooperated with the emperor in doing business? The prince received the deed forwarded by his subordinates and smiled. Everyone says that the third son of the bowling Marquis's mansion is the most disappointing and unpromising, but they don't know that this man is the smartest and most capable, and his vision is better than his 2 brothers. The subordinates secretly complained in their hearts, is it because Su Qingni was optimistic about you? The prince asked his subordinates, are you all ready? All his subordinates said yes. The prince said, act according to the plan. Everyone said yes again. The prince smiled, I and everyone will drink the celebratory wine in Taiji Hall in 3 days. 2 days later, Su Qingni received a message from his own mother, asking him to guard the door at night, stay at home with his family, and don't care about what happens outside. Su Qingni's heart jumped. Did something big happen? Did the prince anger the emperor again? No matter how Su Qingni thought about it, he didn't expect that it was the prince who had always been looked down upon by the ministers who rebelled, led his troops into the palace, and forced the emperor to write a letter of abdication. I underestimated you. The emperor had a very complicated feeling about this son who he always thought was mediocre. He always looked down on this son, thinking that this son was a sheep that couldn't stand up, but he didn't expect that he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Without him knowing, This son had actually taken all the military forces in the capital into his own hands. The emperor knew very well that military power was the foundation of all power. The prince had military power in his hands, and he, the emperor, couldn't do anything about the prince. "Did you do that to the third brother?" the emperor asked. The prince was so scheming and capable, and the third brother must have fallen into his trap. The prince nodded without denying. "He is too self-righteous and too proud." The emperor snorted coldly. "You can ask me to pass the throne to you, but you have to guarantee the lives of your brothers." The prince chuckled twice. "As long as they are honest, I will naturally not kill them. But if they are not honest, I don't mind killing my brothers." The emperor said, "Aren't you afraid that your reputation will be damaged?" The prince, Emperor Taizong of Tang, also came to power by killing his brothers. Isn't he also a famous wise monarch in history? The emperor sighed deeply, and looked much older in an instant. "I will try my best to suppress them and prevent them from opposing you." The prince responded lightly, "I believe in my father." The emperor sighed again and ordered the eunuchs around him, pen, ink, paper and inkstone. The next day, the ministers were trembling with fear and were invited to the Taiji Hall by the soldiers. When they saw the prince wearing the court robe with a 5-clawed golden dragon, they were all shocked. They thought that the one who would lead the troops to attack the palace would be the fourth prince who was knowledgeable in martial arts, the fifth prince whose family was a marquis, or even the third prince who had been imprisoned. What they didn't expect was that it was the prince who had always been looked down upon by everyone and was thought to be a cover for the emperor. Some ministers from other factions shouted unconvinced on the spot. The prince didn't bother to pay attention to them. With a wave of his hand, a team of imperial guards entered the hall, took off the hats and official documents of those ministers, and dragged them out of the Taiji Hall. The prince gave another order, and the subordinates and deputies of the officials who were dragged away were promoted to replace them. Judging from these people's respect for the prince, these people are actually the prince's people. Thinking of the prince's easy control over the imperial guards, all the ministers understood. It turned out that the prince had been pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger. Chapter 33. From ancient dandy to modern dandy. Su Qingni learned from his second brother that the prince had successfully ascended to the throne. He was stunned for a moment, then smiled bitterly and said to Su Qingni, "Second brother, maybe father and I were wrong. Our third brother is the most powerful one in the family." Su Qingni was surprised. "Brother, don't you think that third brother is playing pigs and eating tigers like the prince?" Su Qingni said, "Whether it is true or not, we will know when we wait and see." Not long after, the two brothers learned that Su Qingni was granted the title of Viscount by the emperor, and half of the shares of the entertainment park actually belonged to the emperor. The two brothers of the Su family sat in the study room and looked at each other. After a long time, Su Qingni asked, "Brother, did you know something a long time ago?" Su Qingni said, "I don't know much, but after the incident of the third prince, I was not implicated. It was my third brother who helped me. Mother said that this was because my younger brother used the connections he made in the amusement park to help me. I think that connection is the prince. It seems that my third brother has already defected to the prince." Su Qingni said, "My third brother is so visionary." Su Qingni, "Yes, no one is optimistic about the prince, but my third brother has been optimistic about the prince for a long time and has made friends with the prince." Su Qingni, "We can't look at my younger brother with the same eyes as before." Su Qingni nodded and said, "It's the New Year's Day and we will worship our ancestors. At that time, the three of us brothers will get together and have a good chat. Ask my third brother and let him help us solve our doubts." Unfortunately, Su Qingni really had nothing to solve. He just built the amusement park for fun, and learned from the gossip network of the amusement park that the prince was hiding his incompetence. It was the prince's manager who took the initiative to find him that he had a relationship with the prince. Giving the shares to the prince was also to make the amusement park more stable after having a backer, so that he could have fun freely and at ease. So, I'm really just lucky. I'm not hiding my incompetence as you think." Su Qingni said. Su Qingni. "So, my brother is a real playboy. So, they can't be as lucky as their brother even if they work hard for half a lifetime?" Exclamation mark. Su Qingni and Su Qingni looked at the playboy brother with envy and jealousy. Su Qingni's title was just an empty title, and she didn't have to participate in court affairs. She was still a playboy and had fun, and her life passed like this. Her life was only a short 40 years. This world is a little farther away from the prehistoric world. The time it took for the Dark Yin Stone to connect to the Netherworld was a little longer than the previous world, and it took more than 20 years. When the Netherworld was connected, Su Qingni left this world immediately. Fortunately, the wife of the Marquis had passed away 2 years earlier, so she did not have to endure the pain of losing her son. The original owner's only son had married and had 3 children, and was also successful in his career. Su Qingni did not owe the original owner any karma. In this world, Su Qingni still did not find the true spirit of the 11 ancestor witches, so she could only leave the matter to the Empress Pingxin and let her slowly search. Su Qingni returned to the New World to recuperate for a few years and set off again. This time, Su Qingni's soul possessed a person who died in a car accident. The original body had a car accident not because of bad luck, but because he saw death. The original body was a playboy like Su Qingni in the previous world, and what was even more amazing was that they had the same wish, to be playboys all their lives. Su Qingni, 3. If this world had not been connected to the Netherworld, and the souls of other worlds could not reincarnate in this world, she would have suspected that the original body was the reincarnation of Su Qingni. Otherwise, how could the two of them be so similar in temperament and behavior, even in their wishes? The original owner was called Wei Bixu, and he was also the youngest son in the family. He had an excellent and capable elder brother, who was trained as an heir. As the youngest son, he did not need to work hard, but just enjoy himself. However, even if he was a dandy who was only responsible for playing and enjoying, he still had to contribute when the family needed him. The original owner's contribution was to marry someone for the benefit of the family. When the original owner was 25 years old, the family asked him to marry the daughter of the family's partner. Because of the marriage, he and his wife had no feelings for each other, and he went to bed just to give birth to the heir of his wife's family as soon as possible. His wife's family had only one daughter, and before the marriage, the two families had discussed that the child would take his wife's surname and inherit his wife's family. A year later, the child was born. Wei Bixu completed the task and no longer stayed with his wife, playing by himself outside. His wife was a strong woman, and the child was left to his grandparents and grandparents. Just like that, 2 years later, the wife of the strong woman met her first love when she was a girl, and she changed into a loving and gentle person in seconds. She quickly divorced Wei Bixu and married her first love. Wei Bixu didn't care. He had no feelings for his wife. It was better to divorce, and he was freer. Moreover, the divorce was the fault of the strong woman's ex-wife, and she also compensated him with 5% of the shares of his ex-wife's family business. With the 10% of the shares he owned in his own family, he could spend money and have fun without worrying about becoming a pauper. After getting tired of playing love games with little stars, the original owner recently became addicted to exciting games such as car bungee jumping. However, the original owner's racing skills were not particularly good, and being bold without good skills was fatal, so the original owner killed herself, leaving her body and the wish to be a playboy to Su Qingni. Su Qingni. Okay. I have been a playboy for a lifetime, and it's good to be a playboy for another lifetime. The door of the ward was opened, and a man in his 30s walked in. It was the original owner's eldest brother Wei Bixin. Wei Bixin, who looked like an elite vice president, smiled when he saw his brother Su Qingni, but his expression was extremely serious. I have had all your modified cars dealt with. You are not allowed to race cars anymore. Wei Bixin also had a businesslike expression towards his brother, which made Su Qingni feel as bad as the original owner. Su Qingni wailed, "No, brother, those are all carefully modified by me. They are one of a kind in the world. You can't destroy them for me." Wei Bixin snorted, "It's not that I will destroy them for you, but you will destroy them all. Do you want me to remind you? You just destroyed one of them and almost lost your life." "No way." Su Qingni retorted, "I won't joke with my life. Every modified car I have equipped with the most advanced and safest protection facilities. Even if the cars are all destroyed, people will be fine. At most, they will have some scrapes like me this time, and they will be healed after lying down for a few days." Wei Bixin raised his eyebrows, "Do you mean you want to die like this time?" Su Qingni argued, "I'm not looking for death, I'm just racing with others." Wei Bixin chuckled, "Are you a professional racing driver?" Su Qingni, "I'm not, Wei Bixin interrupted him, "If you race with others with your mediocre driving skills, you are courting death. I am just informing you of this matter, not discussing it with you. You are absolutely not allowed to race again in the future." Su Qingni said weakly, "It will be less fun if you don't race." Wei Bichen said Su Qingni hurriedly said in a servile manner, okay, I won't race anymore. I promise not to race anymore. Wei Bichen nodded. This younger brother has an advantage. He will never go back on his word. Since he promised not to race, he will not race again. Wei Bichen thought for a while and said, by the way, there is also a very dangerous sport like life and death bungee jumping. You should stop it too. Su Qingni, how is bungee jumping dangerous? Wei Bichen, bungee jumping has very high physical and mental requirements. Your body. Wei Bichen glanced at his younger brother. Su Qingni was furious, I'm in good health. I even have six-pack abs. Wei Bichen, haha. That's all fake. How can someone who hangs out in bars and drinks all day and has a rich nightlife be in good health? This request is not only my idea, but also my parents' idea. They don't want to see their son die young. Su Qingni imitated the original owner childish behavior. Although the original owner was physically old, he was still relatively young mentally, and was spoiled by his parents. However, the original owner has always been very filial. Wei Bichen mentioned that it was his parents' request, and the original owner would definitely agree, so Su Qingni naturally had to agree. Okay, Hallie, I promise not to race cars again, and never go bungee jumping again. Is that okay? Alice, the original owner's two favorite hobbies recently have stopped. What should he do in the future? Should he play online games? Oh, too low, right? The original owner is a playboy, not a otaku. And the online games in this world are only keyboard games, not holographic online games. What should he play? Su Qingni decided to think about it carefully. The original owner's injuries were not serious, but his head was the most serious. Because of the heavy blow, he looked fine on the outside, but his soul was knocked out of his body and he was reincarnated again in a daze. Su Qingni also saw the original owner's reincarnation baby in the hospital. The little clown was ugly, but very cute. His family conditions in this life were also very good. Although not as good as the Wei family, it was also a moderately wealthy family. Because there was no major injury, Su Qingni was discharged from the hospital after staying in the hospital for a few days. Wei Bichen sent a driver to pick up Su Qingni and took her directly to the Wei family mansion. Although Su Qingni wanted to go to the original owner's apartment and be more comfortable alone, considering the original owner's parents' concerns about their son, she still obediently returned to the Wei family mansion. When Wei's mother saw her youngest son coming back, she immediately pulled her youngest son to sit at the dining table and asked the nanny to bring the cooked ginseng chicken soup. Su Qingni looked at the chicken soup and really had no appetite to drink it. During the days in the hospital, she drank chicken soup every day, and she was injured. Su, drink the soup quickly. You have lost a lot of weight, you must eat more. Mother Wei looked at her son with pity. Su Qingni's eyes were dead. How could she lose weight? She had gained 2 kilograms. However, there is a kind of thinness called mom thinks you're thin. Su Qingni succumbed to the motherly light of Mother Wei and drank all the chicken soup obediently. Chapter 34 Modern Dandy 1. Wei's father was not at home. Although he handed over the management of the company to his eldest son, some things still had to be handled by Wei's father himself. The family gathered at dinner, and this was the result of Wei Bichen not working overtime because he knew that his younger brother was discharged from the hospital today. At the dinner table, Wei's father reiterated that his younger son would not be allowed to race cars or bungee jump again, and Su Qingni agreed obediently. Wei's father took a sip of soup and said, Yu Qilming is getting married on the 8th of next month. Will you go to the wedding? Yu Qilming was the original body's strong woman ex-wife. She had no feelings for the original owner. Their divorce did not affect the cooperation between the two families. After all, the two families still had a bond, and the original owner's son was there. Therefore, Yu Qilming remarried, and as a partner family, the Wei family received an invitation to the wedding. Wei's father, Wei's mother, and Wei's eldest brother will all attend the wedding to let other people who are interested see that the Wei family and the Yu family have not fallen out because of their children's marriage, so that those people can keep their thoughts to themselves. As for Wei Bixu, Wei's parents and eldest brother did not force him to attend, but only asked for his opinion. The original owner would not be embarrassed to attend his ex-wife's wedding, and Su Qingni would be even less likely to do so. Su Qingni also wanted to see how handsome and unique his ex-wife's first love was. Otherwise, how could such a strong woman like his ex-wife, who looked down on all men, be so obsessed with him? I'll go. Su Qingni answered Wei's father's question, and suddenly said, "Mom and Dad, I want to take Xiaoxi back to her home." Wei's father and mother both looked up at Su Qingni in surprise, and even Wei Bichen put down his chopsticks. Wei's father asked, "Why do you want to take Xiaoxi home? You know, although Xiaoxi is their grandson, his surname is Yu. The old couple of the Yu family regard Yu Jiaxi as the heir of the Yu family, so although Xiaoxi is their grandson, he has always lived in the Yu family and is also a member of the Yu family in the household registration." Su Qingni said, "Yu Qingming used to regard her married life as a task, and she completed her task by giving birth to Xiaoxi. She didn't want to have a married life with me anymore, nor did she want to have any more children. Xiaoxi was her only child, so she was regarded as the heir of the Yu family by the two elders of the Yu family. But now it is different. Yu Qingming likes her lover so much that she will definitely be willing to give birth to children for him. When the child is born, Xiaoxi will not be the only child of the Yu family, and his position will be very embarrassing. Compared with him, the Yu family in Yu Qingming will definitely love and value the children born later by Yu Qingming more." The other three people in the Wei family agree deeply. Su Qingni said, "In order to prevent Xiaoxi from falling into such an embarrassing situation and to prevent Xiaoxi's psychology and personality from being affected, we should take him back to the Wei family. Although I am an irresponsible father, I believe that Xiaoxi will grow up healthy and happy with his parents taking care of him, just like me. When he grows up, I will transfer all my shares to him. Okay, I will go to Old Yu in 2 days and take Xiaoxi back." Father Wei nodded. The younger son was right. For the sake of his grandson, he should be taken back to the Wei family as soon as possible. Xiaoxi's surname must be changed. Wei's mother reminded. How could his grandson have someone else's surname? The other three people nodded together. 3 days later, Wei's father returned to the Wei family mansion with his grandson. He acted quickly. Not only did he convince Yu Qingming's parents, he also changed his grandson's surname to Wei, and his household registration was also moved to the Wei family. "My dear grandson." Wei's mother stepped forward and took the little grandson into her arms, lowered her head and kissed him on the face twice. She was so happy. At her age, she had wanted to hold her grandson for a long time. It was a pity that the eldest son had never married, and although the youngest son gave him a grandson, the grandson was born to someone else's family. If she wanted to hold her grandson, she had to go to someone else's house. Now it's good, the grandson finally belongs to their family. She can hold him however she wants, holding the cute little grandson and kissing him every day, and taking the little grandson to show off to her sisters. Sure enough, the next moment, Wei's mother's voice came into his ears. "Ashen, your brother is right, you should get married and have children. You are already 33 years old, and you will be 40 in a few years. If you don't get married and have children, how long do you want to wait?" Then, a series of nagging made Wei Bichen's face pale. He quickly snatched the little nephew from his brother's hands and stuffed him into Wei's mother's arms. Wei's mother was extremely satisfied holding her grandson and stopped nagging. Wei Bichen took a long breath and glared at Su Qingni fiercely. Su Qingni chuckled, moved to Wei Bichen's side, and asked in a low voice, "Well, brother, you are not a homosexual, are you?" Wei Bichen was so angry that he raised his hand and slapped Su Qingni on the back of the head. "You are a homosexual." Su Qingni chuckled again. "My son can prove that I am not a homosexual." "What can you prove, brother?" Wei Bichen wanted to raise his hand to slap Su Qingni again, but Su Qingni quickly grabbed his arm. "Brother, a gentleman uses words instead of fists." "Wei Bichen, I am not a gentleman." How can a gentleman be so powerful in the business world? He would have been swallowed up by the old foxes in the business world. Su Qingni said, "Then you can't just hit people all the time. You don't want to hit me to cover up your guilty conscience, do you?" Wei Bichen broke free from Su Qingni's hand. Su Qingni actually let him do it, otherwise Wei Bichen couldn't break free, and slapped Su Qingni again. "I don't need to feel guilty, and I have a girlfriend." Su Qingni shouted in surprise, "You have a girlfriend? What? Ashen has a girlfriend? Who is it?" Wei's mother heard her little son's cry and hurried over to ask, and Wei's father also pricked up his ears. Looking at his parents' reactions, Wei Bichen had no choice. He had just started a relationship with his girlfriend and hadn't thought about telling his parents so soon, but his brother, this unruly guy, exposed it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35 Modern Dandy 2. Now that the matter has been said, there is no need to hide it. Although his girlfriend's family background is not good, with his ability, he will definitely make his parents accept this daughter-in-law. Her name is Nipandi, and she is one of my assistants. Wei Bichchen said, although her family background is not very good, she is very capable and can help me a lot in work. After marriage, she can also become a qualified head of the family. Wei's father and mother frowned slightly. It is a good thing for the eldest son to have a girlfriend, but this family background is indeed a problem. How bad is the family background? Wei's father asked. Wei Bichchen answered honestly, Pandi's family is from the countryside. She has 3 older sisters and a younger brother. Her family is, very poor. But Pandi is really capable. She was the top scorer in the local college entrance examination and completed her undergraduate studies in 3 years. During that time, she had to work to earn her own tuition and living expenses, otherwise she would have graduated from college in a year less. She is also very capable at work and is confident. With her help, my work is much easier. Wei Bichchen listed a series of Nipandi's advantages, but the disapproval in Wei's father's eyes did not diminish, and Wei's mother also had an unhappy look on her face. Wei's mother said, Ashen, for a family like ours, it's better to marry a daughter-in-law who is of equal status. Although the girl you mentioned is capable, she doesn't live in the same circle as us, and there are big differences. I'm afraid she won't be able to do a good job in socializing as a lady, and won't be able to get along with the ladies of other families. Wei Bichchen hurriedly said, Pandi can learn, she has a strong learning ability. Wei's mother shook her head, this is not something that can be learned, it is cultivated from childhood to adulthood over the years. Wei Bichchen frowned, he thought his mother would agree with him, after all, his mother had been urging him to find a girlfriend, saying that she would accept anyone who is not a man. But now that he has a girlfriend, his mother has this attitude again. Wei Bichchen turned to look at Wei's father, his attitude was crucial. Wei's father also disapproved, I thought you always kept your private and public life separate and didn't approve of office romances. Wei Bichchen emphasized again, Pandi is excellent. Wei's father said, excellence at work cannot be brought into life, Ashen, as your mother said, the family background is not right, that girl is not suitable for our family. Wei Bichchen closed his eyes, and when he opened them, the 3 adults of the Wei family could see the determination in them. Wei Bichchen said in a deep voice, Dad, Mom, I will not give up Pandi, I think she is the most suitable person for me. Dad, I am not a little brother, he doesn't care about anything, so he agreed to your marriage. But I have expectations for my marriage, I will not marry someone I don't like for the sake of profit, otherwise, I will be single for the rest of my life. Wei's father also said in a deep voice, are you threatening us? Wei Bichchen shook his head, no, I'm just telling the truth. The room was silent, even the children felt that the atmosphere was wrong, and they nestled in their grandmother's arms obediently, not daring to speak. After a long while, Wei's father said, since you insist, your mother and I will no longer care about you. If you regret it later, don't blame us. Wei's mother, old Wei. Wei's father, his wings are already hard, and we can't control him. Do you really want to see him never get married? Wei's mother. With the character of her eldest son, this is really possible. Wei's mother sighed, forget it, I don't care, I just care about my little grandson. Fortunately, she still has a well-behaved and lovely grandson. Wei's father and mother didn't want to stay with Wei Bichchen anymore, and the 2 of them took their little grandson to the 2nd floor. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Wei Bichchen breathed a sigh of relief and said to the backs of Wei's father and mother. Although his parents did not accept Pandi, as long as they didn't object, it would be fine. Su Qingni looked at Wei Bichchen and said, you will regret it. After that, he also got up and went upstairs. Although she didn't use the timeline to view Wei Bichchen's future, she only looked at Wei Bichchen's face and knew that his relationship would not succeed, and it might even bring him some harm. What he encountered was not a positive peach blossom, but a peach blossom with evil spirits, a peach blossom disaster. Wei Bixu looked at the empty hall. No one in his family supported him, but he would not regret it. The wedding of his ex-wife was held in a grand manner, which showed the importance of the Yu family to this matter, and it can be seen how much the ex-wife loved her first love. Su Qingni looked at the ex-wife, who was always strong and official in front of the original owner, leaning on the handsome man like a little bird, with a happy smile on her face, and she twitched her mouth. Love can really change people. Looking at the man next to the ex-wife, he is quite handsome, but his figure is not as good as the original owner, and his appearance is not as good as the original owner. His temperament is okay, but the original owner's temperament is not bad. Although he is sloppy, he is quite popular with girls. The ex-wife is really a beauty in the eyes of the lover. Congratulations to you, I wish you a long life and love each other. Su Qingni waited until the bride and groom finished greeting the other people in the Wei family, walked up to them and gave her blessings. Anyway, just say it with your mouth, and you won't lose a piece of meat or a dollar. Thank you. The ex-wife saw Su Qingni, her smile drooped, and she replied lightly. The groom recognized Su Qingni, but still wore a kind smile and said thank you in the same way. Please come in. There are too many guests, so I can't greet you personally, please forgive me. Su Qingni chuckled, patted the groom on the shoulder, and said with a smile, brother, you are awesome. After that, she took back her hand and strode away. She listened to the conversation between the bride and the groom. The bride's unhappy voice, what does he mean? The groom guessed, maybe, he found out that you are pregnant. Bride, him? Impossible. The groom said, I don't think he's very similar to what you said. Bride, why not? He has always been this lazy and frivolous look. Groom, but he gives me the feeling that he always sees through everything. Bride, you think too much? Su Qingni laughed again. The bride looked down on him as usual, and the groom was guilty. After all, the bride has been pregnant for more than 4 months, although the skirt of the wedding dress covered her belly so that others could not see it. You have to know that more than 4 months ago, the original owner and his ex-wife had not divorced yet. The original owner was wearing a green hat. Aksu, what are you thinking about? Walk so slowly, come here quickly. Wei's mother called her little son in front. Su Qingni hurriedly walked to Wei's mother in 2 steps, stretched out her hand and pinched the child's chubby face. No wonder the Yu family let us take Xiaoxi back so easily. Chapter 36 Modern Dandy III. No wonder the Yu family let us bring Xiaoxi back so easily. Wei's father, mother and eldest brother. Su Qingni smiled and said, Yu Qingming has been pregnant for more than 4 months. Wei's mother was furious, the good daughter raised by the Yu family actually cheated on you. Su Qingni comforted Wei's mother, don't be angry, we agreed when I married her, she and I will play with each other, she just found a man, but I have found many women. Your son will not suffer. Wei's mother. Suddenly I felt that my youngest son was a scumbag. The wedding went smoothly and no one came to make trouble. Although the bride and groom were both remarried, their ex-husbands and ex-wives did not come to make trouble and rob the wedding like in TV dramas. The groom's ex-wife did not show up. It was said that she was abroad and was the party at fault in the marriage. She had no face to attend her ex-husband's remarriage ceremony. Su Qingni pinched her chin and looked at the groom, who was affectionate with the bride. She had a hunch that the ex-wife would most likely fall. Her current husband was definitely not simple. Because their daughter was pregnant again, the old couple of the Yu family focused most of their attention on their daughter and the grandson who was about to be born. They didn't care much about the child, who was renamed Wei Jiaxi, which just happened to let the Wei family parents win over the child. The child is sensitive and can feel the change in the attitude of adults. Therefore, the child is much more distant from the Yu family couple and closer to the Wei family parents. Su Qingni rested at home for a while and increased his feelings with the child. He couldn't sit still and prepared to go out. However, because of the child, he did not move out of the Wei family mansion and could spend more time with the child. Wei's mother knew that her youngest son could not sit still, and she couldn't lock him up. She only told Su Qingni not to play too dangerous sports such as drag racing and bungee jumping. The last time she heard that her youngest son had a car accident while drag racing, she almost had a heart attack. Su Qingni nodded obediently and said to herself, let's not drive a car. Driving a car is too low. Let's go by plane. A few days ago, she watched a video of a fancy flying show. The plane kept spinning and going up and down in the air, as if dancing. It was very exciting. The helicopter looked like a fighter jet. It was amazing. At that time, she decided to play with flying planes in the future. Su Qingni sorted out her assets. She had a lot of assets, but most of them were stocks and real estate. There was too little cash, mainly because the original owner was too extravagant and spent all the dividends every year. Su Qingni's idea of buying a helicopter was not feasible for the time being. You have to make money. Although there are cheap helicopters, you can buy them as long as you get the dividends at the end of the year. But she wants to play fancy flying to show off her skills. The configuration of cheap planes is too low. How can she play it? Just like people who play racing will not use QQ cars to race, cheap QQ cars will definitely cause the racers to crash and die. Fancy flying has higher requirements for aircraft. If there were no restrictions in the country, Su Qingni really wanted to buy a fighter jet to play. Make money, make money. How to make money? Is it like opening another amusement park like in the last world? Su Qingni immediately denied it. Amusement parks made money in the last world, but not on this world. There are so many entertainment venues in this world, both high-end and low-end. It is not competitive to open an amusement park by yourself. What should I do? I must exclude the hard and step-by-step means of making money. My life is mainly for fun. I can't look up to Wei's father and elder brother just to make money. It will ruin my personality. Developed games? This world is very similar to the Earth world. There are games on Earth in this world. I don't know how to design and develop games. How can I develop new games? Holographic games? This idea, but she doesn't understand holographic technology. She will talk about it after she travels to the interstellar world and the future world to learn holographic technology. Su Qingni thought about it and decided that the only way to make more money in the entertainment industry is to invest in movies. Of course, this depends on the investor's vision. If you invest in a bad movie, you can't get back the cost and lose all your money. But if you invest in a good movie that makes money, or even a big hit, then the money will be as easy as robbing. The original body had played with several small stars, and had a good understanding of the entertainment industry, and knew several people in the entertainment industry. Su Qingni spread the news through these people, saying that she wanted to invest in movies. Immediately, many people came to ask for money. The original body was a typical person with a lot of money in the entertainment industry. There were too many cases of spending money to send a little lover to the crew. Many crews that were short of money welcomed the existence of the original body. Su Qingni was not the original body. She invested in movies to make money, not to promote a woman. For the crews that came to her, Su Qingni first asked them for a script, and then sent private detectives to understand the strength of the directors and actors in each crew, the ability of the behind-the-scenes staff, and the configuration of the crew's software and hardware. Su Qingni selected several dramas with better scripts, and abandoned all the scripts that were too bloody and confusing. Then, she compared whether the directors and actors were reliable and whether their acting skills were online, and then, in the end, Su Qingni chose 3 dramas, 1 movie and 2 TV series for investment. Because she doesn't have much money on hand now, the money invested in each drama is not much, so the money earned in the end is naturally limited. However, the money on hand can allow her to invest in a movie independently. Su Qingni chose a director she liked the most among the 3 dramas she invested in, and called him to the coffee shop for tea. Mr. Wei, what do you want to talk to me about? Chaizhuan asked with doubt and a little expectation. Is Mr. Wei looking for him to make a movie? Before the release of the recent movie Time Passing invested by Mr. Wei, Chaizhuan had always been an unsuccessful director. It was only thanks to the small success of Time Passing that Chaizhuan's career started to take off. Thinking back to when he sold his house and used all his savings to shoot Time Flies, he ran out of money halfway through the shooting. Seeing that the work would not be completed and all his savings were wasted, he approached Wei Xiao with a glimmer of hope and asked Wei Xiao to invest. Wei Xiao had a keen eye and chose to invest in his crew, so that Time Flies could be completed and released, earning back the investment and also earning him a reputation. Chaizhuan was very grateful to Su Qingni and regarded him as his golden thigh. This thigh must be embraced. Many people in the circle looked down on Wei Xiao, saying that he was just a dandy with a little money, but Chaizhuan had met Wei Xiao several times and felt that Wei Xiao was different from what they said. At least, in terms of vision, Wei Xiao was better than many people in the circle. Chapter 37 Modern Dandy 4. Su Qingni nodded under Chaizhuan's expectant eyes. You are right, I came to you to ask you to direct a movie. Chaizhuan's eyes suddenly lit up, and he quickly assured, don't worry, Mr. Wei, I will definitely direct a better movie than The Passing Time. Su Qingni chuckled, without a good script, even if your directing skills are not weak, you can't direct a better movie than The Passing Time, right? Chai Zhuan, that, I know a lot of screenwriters, I will definitely find a wonderful script. Su Qingni smiled, took out a stack of papers from the black briefcase beside and handed it to Chai Zhuan. Is this the script? Chai Zhuan asked after taking it. Su Qingni nodded, take a look first. Chai Zhuan looked down and saw that this was a suspenseful and humorous script called You Can't See Me, which tells the story of a couple with high IQ but low EQ who set traps and tripped each other because of their quarrel, and ended up involving ordinary people, attracting the attention of the police. The people sent by the police to investigate them are also highly intelligent, and the battle of wits between the three is very exciting and worth watching, just like the Three Kingdoms War. And because the male and female protagonists have low emotional intelligence, they set off a series of hilarious scenes in the process of scheming against each other and in the battle of wits with the police. At the end of the movie, the couple was arrested by the police and taken to the detention center, where they spent Valentine's Day. Chai Zhuan's eyes lit up and he couldn't put the script down. He raised his head and stared at Su Qingni with burning eyes. Mr. Wei, which master wrote this script? It's so wonderful. Su Qingni took a sip of coffee and said lightly, I wrote it. Huh? Chai Zhuan stared at Su Qingni dumbfounded. Such a wonderful script was actually written by the person in front of him? Su Qingni, don't believe it. Chai Zhuan shook his head, it's a little unexpected. Su Qingni, I am a playboy, not an idiot and illiterate. I graduated from a famous foreign university, I graduated by chance. Writing one or two scripts is nothing. Yet, Chai Zhuan agreed. He always felt that Wei Xiao was not a fool playboy as others said. Now the facts are in front of him. Su Qingni continued, this film is a low-cost production. I will give you 30 million. Is it enough? Enough. Chai Zhuan was very happy. This kind of urban film does not need to set up a studio or special effects, so it won't cost much. With the actors' pay and the staff's wages, Chai Zhuan felt that 20 million would be enough to shoot the film. You are responsible for everything from setting up the crew to finding actors. I will only pay. Su Qingni said, don't come to me if there is nothing to do. It is better not to come to me if there is something to do. Okay. Chai Zhuan happily took the script and the check and left. Su Qingni asked the waiter to change for a cup of hot coffee, then turned on the computer and searched for schools that teach flying technology on the internet. There are many aviation colleges in China, but these all require the college entrance examination to enter. There are also some schools that do not require the college entrance examination, but they only teach students the driving skills of civil aircraft. Advanced technology is difficult to learn. Su Qingni saw the introduction of the world's three most famous flight academies, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in the United States, the National Civil Aviation University in the United States, and Cranfield University in the United Kingdom. The introductions are not very good, but it is a bit difficult to enter, especially Cranfield University, which only trains masters and doctoral students in flight majors, but is known as the Chinese Academy of Sciences in the United Kingdom. Su Qingni had no hope of entering. In the end, Su Qingni chose the Proflight Flight Academy in Australia, the country of kangaroos, where you can enter and study by paying money. It is better to say that it is a company than an academy. It is a company that provides aircraft leasing and flight teaching for general aviation enthusiasts. It also has safe and reliable aircraft for students to accumulate flight time. Su Qingni wants to learn the basics in this academy, and then continue to study after passing all the flight license exams. Clicking on the online registration page, Su Qingni filled in the original owner's name and relevant information and paid the registration fee. Not long after, the registration was accepted, and Su Qingni received the interview notice and physical examination notice from Proflight Flight Academy, which were scheduled for a month later. It's just right to take advantage of this month to spend more time with her son. It's also because the child is so cute that everyone wants to spend more time with the child. The phone rang suddenly, and Su Qingni saw the name displayed on the screen and immediately clicked to connect. Mom. Wei's mother's voice came over. Su, remember to go home on time for dinner tonight. Su Qingni replied, I know. The first time my eldest brother brings his girlfriend home, I, as his younger brother, will definitely be there. After hanging up the phone, Su Qingni sneered softly. Wei Bichen attached great importance to Ni Pandi, and Wei's father and mother had no choice but to accept this future daughter-in-law. However, Only Su Qingni knew that Nipandi would not become Wei Bichin's wife. Alice, I hope that Brother Wei will not be hurt too deeply. Su Qingni did not think of telling what she knew. With Wei Bichin's character, he would only believe his own judgment and not the words of his useless brother. If Su Qingni told, Wei Bichin would only think that Su Qingni was helping Wei's father and mother to destroy his relationship with Nipandi, and he might even be angry with Su Qingni. Su Qingni would not be a villain in vain. Anyway, Wei Bichin would not suffer too much loss, so she would just watch the show. Sitting in the car driven by the driver, there was no other way. Since the car accident, Wei's parents did not allow Su Qingni to touch the car again, and specially assigned a driver to follow her. Su Qingni returned to the Wei family mansion. As soon as she entered the door, a little dumpling rushed over and hugged her calf. Baba. The little dumpling called with a not very standard pronunciation. Su Qingni picked up the little girl and held her in her arms. The little girl nestled into Su Qingni's arms, looking very attached to her. After a few months of getting along, the relationship between the little girl and her father has become closer and closer, but this is the first time she is so attached to him. Su Qingni patted the little girl's back gently and asked softly, Xiaoxi misses Daddy so much? The little girl said him softly, and after a while, she asked in a low voice, Baba, you won't abandon Xiaoxi, will you? Of course, you are my son, how can I not want you? Su Qingni said. She noticed that the little girl's mood was a little wrong, and asked gently, what's wrong? Is there something unhappy? The little girl pouted and said in a baby voice, Mom has a little brother, she only loves the little brother, she doesn't love me anymore, and doesn't want me anymore. Su Qingni. Chapter 38 Modern Dandy 5. Su Qingni thought that if she took little Tuanzi back to Wei's house from Yu's house, little Tuanzi would not be hurt, but she underestimated how much a child cares about his mother, and little Tuanzi was still hurt. Su Qingni held little Tuanzi and rocked him, and gently comforted him, Grandpa, Grandma and Dad will always love you. Really? Little Tuanzi raised his big round eyes. At this moment, his eyes were red and there were tears in the corners of his eyes. Really? Su Qingni assured little Tuanzi. But, little Tuanzi said, Dad will get married in the future, and will have brothers and sisters. Can he still love me? Don't worry, Dad will not remarry. You are my only son. After comforting little Tuanzi and coaxing him to laugh, Su Qingni took little Tuanzi to play for a while, and then handed the tired little Tuanzi to the nanny beside him. The nanny took little Tuanzi back to his children's room to rest. Su Qingni wiped the non-existent sweat and asked Wei's mother who was sitting beside her, Mom, how did Xiaoxi know about Yu Qingming's child? Wei's mother felt a little guilty. I was on the phone with Mrs. Liu before and pressed the hands-free button. Mrs. Liu told me that Yu Qingming had given birth to another son, and how much the Yu family liked this son. It's a pity that our Xiaoxi is not liked by his mother, and his grandparents also like to pay more attention to his younger brother. Anyway, she said a lot of things, and Xiaoxi heard them all. Su Qingni frowned and said, MRS. Liu is the most gossipy one in the circle? Mom, you should have less contact with her in the future. I know. Wei's mother said angrily. She interacted with Mrs. Liu just to hear gossip from her, but now the content of the gossip hurt her precious grandson, so she could only suppress her gossipy soul and stay away from Mrs. Liu a little. Su Qingni decided that in addition to playing in this world by herself, she should still spend more time with the original owner's son. The modern world is not like the ancient world. The father-son relationship in the ancient world made her not need to meet her original son often, but it is not the case in the modern world. Children in the modern world need the love of their parents, otherwise their little hearts will be hurt and their personalities will be defective. Su Qingni used the timeline to explore. Without her arrival, the original owner ignored her son. Wei Jiaxi has been living in the Yu family. Although his grandparents still love this grandson, Yu Qingming later gave birth to another son and a daughter, and the love of the Yu family couple was divided. Wei Jiaxi, a little person, watched the Yu family couple and the Yu Qingming couple love their younger brothers and sisters. They are family, and she can't get involved at all. The little heart was greatly hurt and her personality became gloomy. The gloomy personality is not pleasing, and the Yu family couple gradually likes the cheerful and excellent second grandson more, and Wei Jiaxi has become more gloomy because of this. This is a dead circle. Then, when the children grew up, the Yu family couple was unwilling to let the gloomy eldest grandson be the heir to the family, and preferred the excellent second grandson. They gave all their shares to their second grandson without Wei Jiaxi's permission. This move greatly stimulated Wei Jiaxi, who had always thought that he was the heir of the Yu family. After all, when he was still young, the Yu family couple told him that everything in the Yu family would belong to him in the future, and he was the heir of the Yu family. As a result, Wei Jiaxi turned evil and wanted to get rid of his younger brother and sister, and even Yu Qingming, his biological mother, and the Yu family couple, his grandparents. He arranged a killing game to kill everyone in the Yu family in one fell swoop. But he might have a villain script, and the younger brother of the Yu family might be the male protagonist of this world, and there is also a female protagonist fiancée. The two of them turned on the protagonist's halo and actually survived the killing game that was doomed to die, and also protected other members of the Yu family. Although the other members of the Yu family were injured, they all saved their lives. Then, Wei Jiaxi, who thought he had left no clues, was found and died in a car accident chased by the police, the same as the death of the original body. The original body also died in a car accident caused by drag racing, a typical example of not doing anything to die. Su Qingni is not the original body. She will pay attention to the psychological problems of children. She will spend more time with her children besides playing time, so that the children can grow up healthy and cheerful. Her son is not short of the inheritance of the Yu family. Her wealth is enough for her son to enjoy life. Her current assets cannot be compared with the Yu family, but as long as she keeps investing in movies to make money, her assets will increase and sooner or later she will surpass the Yu family. Su Qingni pinched her chin. In addition to investing in the entertainment industry, she can also go to the stock market. Use shares. The Yu couple holds 35% of the shares, and Yu Qingming originally held 15% of the shares, but when they divorced, they gave the original owner 3% of the shares as compensation. The Yu family has a total of 48% of the shares of Yu's enterprise, and 10% of the remaining shares have flowed into the stock market. I can buy all those scattered shares through the stock market, and then find a way to buy the shares of Yu's enterprise from other shareholders. As long as the little boy doesn't grow up crooked, the Yu family couple will have to give the child a portion of the shares anyway, even if it's only 1%, plus all the shares they acquired will be given to the little boy. As long as the little boy owns more than 48% of the shares, he will be the largest shareholder of Yu's enterprise. Haha, she was waiting to see the reactions of the Yu family couple and Yu Qingming. Su, what are you laughing at? Why are you laughing so weirdly? Wei's mother asked in confusion. She actually wanted to say that she was laughing obscenely, but she changed obscene to weird to give face to her youngest son. Nothing to laugh at. Su Qingni restrained her smile, stood up and said, "Mom, I'm going back to my room. Wait until my eldest brother brings his girlfriend here, then you can call me." As she spoke, she took 2 or 3 steps up the stairs and went up to the second floor. Back in her room, Su Qingni turned on her phone, downloaded the stock trading app, linked it to her bank account, and entered the stock market. Su Qingni did not use the timeline to cheat in stock trading, but instead studied financial knowledge while trading stocks. If it were someone else, they would definitely lose a lot of money, but Su Qingni was lucky. All the stocks she bought rose, and none fell. The money in her stock market account snowballed. Second young master, the eldest young master is back with his girlfriend. "Madam, please come downstairs." "Okay." Su Qingni turned off the computer and went out, just in time to see the little girl being carried out by the nanny. The little girl looked sleepy, and her chubby hands were still rubbing her eyes. Su Qingni reached out to take him, patted his little butt, and chuckled, "Let's go and see what kind of beauty your uncle's girlfriend is." Chapter 39 Modern Dandy VI. Niangniang is indeed a beauty. Wei Bichen always said that Niangniang was excellent and was his most capable assistant. Su Qingni, like Wei's father and mother, thought that Niangniang was a strong woman like Yu Qingming. But after seeing her in person, she knew she was wrong. Niangniang looks weak and pure on the outside. She doesn't have the aura of a strong woman at all. She speaks softly and her whole body is like water. Wei's father and mother immediately had a better impression of Niangniang, and Xia Chuanzi also liked Niangniang very much. So, humans still attach great importance to appearance and ignore the inner qualities because of appearance. Wei Bichen introduced his family members to Niangniang, and Su Qingni shook hands with Niangniang with a smile. "Miss Ni, if my eldest brother has made you unhappy again, you must show mercy." "What nonsense!" Wei Bichen glared at his younger brother. Niangniang smiled gently, Ashen is very good and won't make me angry. Really? Su Qingni said meaningfully. Niangniang felt that Su Qingni's attitude was a little strange, but she didn't feel any dislike or malice from her, so she simply ignored Su Qingni and stretched out her hands to the little girl. Are you Xiaoxi? I'm Entni, can I hug you? The little girl looked at Niangniang for a long time, and then opened her chubby hands to Niangniang. Niangniang hugged the little girl. Her movements were very skillful, and she hugged the little girl very comfortably. Seeing her performance like this, Wei's father and mother had a better impression of Niangniang. Wei Bichen looked at Niangniang gently throughout the whole process, with a happy smile on his face. Su Qingni lit a candle for Wei Bichen in her heart. This meeting was very successful, and Wei's father and mother accepted Niangniang as their daughter-in-law. Wei Bichen always had a smile on his face when he went to work and came home every day. A month has passed, during which time Chai Zhuan has already formed a team, and You Can't See Me has started filming. Most of the behind-the-scenes staff are from the passing years who worked with Chai Zhuan, and only some of the actors participated in the passing years, but the 3 leading actors were found by Chai Zhuan with great effort. Among the 3 leading actors, only the one who plays the policeman is famous and is considered a second-rate actor. The other 2 who play the lovers are not famous at all and are both outside the 5th or 6th line. However, these 3 people have one thing in common: their acting skills are very superb and they look good. They just lack an opportunity to become famous, and You Can't See Me is an opportunity for them to rise. This is also the reason why the 3 people would rather not be paid to participate after seeing the script. Of course, Chai Zhuan is now rich and powerful, and it is impossible not to pay them. Su Qingni went to the shooting site to see it once, and found that Chai Zhuan had a good control over the crew and the shooting was also smooth, so she was relieved and let it go. The interview time and physical examination time of Proflight Flight Academy have arrived. Su Qingni packed a suitcase and looked like she was going on a long journey. Wei's father and mother did not find it strange at all. Instead, they found it strange that their youngest son had been staying at home all this time. During this period, Su Qingni's behavior of investing in TV and movies in the entertainment industry made them put aside their doubts. They thought that their youngest son was spending money on some little star. Mom, I may not be back for 4 months this time. Xiaoxi, please. Su Qingni is much more responsible than the original owner. Before leaving home, she must say goodbye to her family and son, and don't let her son have the idea of being abandoned. Xiaoxi, be good at home and listen to Grandpa, Grandma and Uncle. Dad is out on business and can't be at home with you, but Dad will contact you through video, and you can see Dad on the computer. Su Qingni touched the little dumpling's head and said a series of words. He knew that the little dumpling could understand. This child is very smart. The little dumpling nodded obediently. Although his little face was full of reluctance, he did not cry and ask Su Qingni to stay. Su Qingni stretched her neck and kissed the little dumpling's chubby little face, then waved at him, turned around and strode out with a suitcase. Mother Wei looked at her youngest son's disappearing figure and said to Aunt Zhang, who had worked in the Wei family for more than 30 years, why do I feel that the way Su left this time is different from the way he left before, but he looks familiar. Aunt Zhang thought for a while and said, the way the second young master left this time is very similar to the way the eldest young master and the master leave every time they go on a business trip. Mother Wei clapped her hands and said, yes, that's right. When I saw Su leave, I felt that he was not going out to have fun this time, but seemed to be going to do something big. Aunt Zhang nodded, well, it feels like the second young master is a lot more serious now. Mother Wei, but Su should be going out to have fun this time. So, are we seeing it wrong? Aunt Zhang replied, maybe we are overthinking it. The interview and physical examination went smoothly. The original owner had played too much before, and was a little weak, and her kidneys were not good, but other aspects were acceptable. After Su Qingni possessed her, she took care of her body, which made her physical fitness much stronger now, and the physical examination showed that she had no diseases. Su Qingni was successfully enrolled and began to study. Su Qingni has learned theoretical knowledge very well, and her professional performance is the first among the students in this period. The instructors are very optimistic about Su Qingni. Therefore, when she was studying, the instructors also took good care of Su Qingni and taught her some driving skills. The feeling of flying an airplane in the blue sky is very refreshing for others, but for Su Qingni, who can fly freely without relying on anything in the prehistoric world, it is just like that. She is not afraid of danger and heights, so she can perform various flying maneuvers very calmly, and even some more dangerous flying maneuvers can be completed. The instructors are more optimistic about Su Qingni. After obtaining the PPL, private pilot license, and CPL certificates, commercial pilot certificate, and completing a series of additional trainings such as night flight training and multi-engine aircraft flight instrument control training, the instructors recommended a flying club to Su Qingni, who graduated successfully. Instructor Mike said to Su Qingni, "The level of members of this club is very high. They are all good at aerobatics and are eligible to participate in any competition organized by FAI, International Air Federation. In order to maintain the operation of the club, they have set up training courses to teach aerobatics. You can go there to learn. Judging from your usual performance, you should like excitement very much. Aerobatics can make you feel refreshed. Thank you." Su Qingni happily took the business card handed over by Professor Mike. It's really a pillow that comes when you are sleepy. She is having a headache about where to go for further studies. There is no reliable school that teaches aerobatics on the internet. I hope to see you in an international competition again one day. Professor Mike said with a smile, "Victor, you are born to belong to the blue sky." Chapter 40 Modern Dandy 7. RFS Club, Chinese name is Zhaixing Club, has no reputation among ordinary people, but it is very famous in the flying circle and is considered a big boss. Su Qingni successfully signed up for the training class with a business card given by Mike. The training class here is different from the one-to-many teaching of Proflight Flight Academy, but a one-to-one guidance teaching. Therefore, the tuition fee is not low, more than 10 times more expensive than the tuition of Proflight Flight Academy. However, this money is nothing to Su Qingni. With a swipe of the bank card, all the tuition fees were paid directly. Because the teaching is one-to-one, there is no fixed and unified time for the start of school. Students can set their own time and come to study whenever they want. Su Qingni has not been home for nearly half a year. In addition, it is almost the end of the year. She decided to go home for the new year first and come to RFS for further studies in March next year. After half a year, Zion Chuanzi has grown a lot taller, and no one needs to hold him all the time. His short legs run very fast. Because they often video chat, even though he hadn't been home for half a year, the little girl was not unfamiliar with Su Qingni. When he saw her, he immediately ran over and hugged Su Qingni's thighs, upgraded from hugging calves to hugging thighs. Su Qingni happily pinched the child's chubby face, and just before the child's tears came out, she stuffed the transformers she bought for the child into the child's arms. The child's tears were immediately held back, and he smiled while hugging the transformers. "Where have you been playing for the past 6 months?" Wei's father asked Su Qingni. This time Su Qingni was away from home for half a year, longer than any other time she had been away from home. If he hadn't called Wei's father and mother every week to let them know that he was safe, they would have been worried sick. In Australia, Su Qingni didn't say that he was learning to fly a plane. Wei's father and mother didn't let him drive a car, and they certainly wouldn't let him fly a plane. If he said he flew a plane, Wei's father and mother would never let him go to Australia again. The environment in Australia is nice. I want to spend more time there. You just can't concentrate. Wei's father said, "You stay out all day and can't go home. Aren't you afraid that your son won't recognize you?" Su Qingni smiled and said, "I video chat with Xiaoxi every week. How could he not recognize me? But it's better for parents to be with their children," Wei's father said. Su Qingni pouted in her heart. Wei's father didn't do it himself, and he still asked his son to do it. You know, when Wei's father was young, he was either working in the office or flying around the country and the world on business trips. When the original owner was a child, it was good to see Wei's father for a while every month. There was no video chat at that time. I know, I won't run away in a year or two, stay at home, and spend more time with Xiaoxi. By then, she had mastered all the flying skills, and when she made enough money, she would buy a plane and play in China, and she wouldn't have to go abroad anymore. Speaking of money, Su Qingni was happy. You Can't See Me was filmed 4 months ago and released 2 months ago after post-production was completed. This movie has no big-name stars and the publicity is not strong, but it became popular just by relying on QQ publicity. The main reason is that the plot is exciting, there are many humorous plots, the actors' acting skills are online, and the post-production is excellent. People with vision will like to watch this movie. You Can't See Me originally had a screening rate of only 10%. After a week of release, the audience wanted to buy movie tickets but couldn't buy them and protested. The theater immediately rearranged it and the screening rate rose to 45%. The box office jumped 3 levels and directly became the box office champion in the second week. In the next 3 weeks, You Can't See Me did not fall from the box office champion position. A movie with an investment of no more than 30 million yuan finally earned 100 million yuan in box office. This rate of return made Wei's father and Wei Bichen a little jealous. Chai Zhuan has become a hot director in China because of this movie. Many entertainment companies have extended olive branches to him and want to invite him to make movies. However, Chai Zhuan is very principled. If you become rich, you will never forget each other. Besides, Su Qingni is such a big thigh. How could Chai Zhuan abandon such an open-minded, rich and capable boss and hug other people's thighs? Not long after You Can't See Me was released, Chai Zhuan called Su Qingni and asked if Su Qingni wanted to continue to invest in movies and he would work for Su Qingni. Su Qingni naturally wanted to continue investing, and she wanted to make more money. On the phone, Su Qingni asked Chai Zhuan to help her with some preliminary preparations. She decided to open a smaller entertainment company and not recruit artists or anything, just for investment in filming. Yesterday, Chai Zhuan called Su Qingni to tell her that the preparations had been completed. The two made an appointment to meet tomorrow and go to the Industrial and Commercial Bureau to register the company together. When Wei's father heard that Su Qingni was going to open an entertainment company, he used his connections to help Su Qingni and let Su Qingni get the company's business license smoothly. The company was not large in scale. Su Qingni hired a manager to take full charge of the company's operations through Chai Zhuan's introduction. She then gave Chai Zhuan several scripts she had written in the past 6 months and asked him to shoot them. After investing 200 million yuan in the company's account, she stopped caring about it. Several scripts were as exciting as You Can't See Me. After being filmed, they also became popular and made money, so that people in the entertainment industry noticed the screenwriters of these scripts. Many people wanted to know who wrote these scripts, and they wanted this screenwriter to write scripts for their own companies. But after learning from Chai Zhuan that the screenwriter himself was Su Qingni, everyone was dumbfounded. A dandy second-generation ancestor could actually write a script? And it was written so excitingly? Are you kidding? Could it be that he hired a gunman? Chai Zhuan looked down on everyone. The second young master Wei graduated from a famous foreign university, and he has a lot of talent. You can't look down on him just because his family is rich. Everyone. Could it be that they really looked down on him? Wei's father and Wei Bichen, who learned about the matter, said, has their son brother been hiding his shortcomings? Or have they never really understood their son brother? The first month of the year passed, and Su Qingni began to pack her bags to return to Australia for further studies. However, a major event happened at home, so Su Qingni paused. Seeing her eldest brother in a decadent state, Su Qingni's mouth twitched. Wei Bichen's peach blossom calamity finally broke out. He was hurt a lot this time. Not only did his lover betray him and throw himself into the arms of another man, but she also leaked the company's business plan to her rival, causing the project that Wei's company had been planning for more than a year to fall through. Chapter 41 Modern Dandy. Niangniang is very good at being a person and acting, so even the old and cunning Wei's father and mother were deceived and had a good impression of her. But the real old and cunning Su Qingni did not seem to be deceived by Niangniang, not to mention that she could tell from Wei Bichen's face that Niangniang was a bad peach blossom. The word bad can show that Niangniang's character is not very good. Niangniang looks gentle and pure, and her excellence and ability make everyone who sees her have a good impression of her. But in fact, Niangniang is selfish and cold. For the sake of interests, she can abandon family affection, love and friendship, and even some principles of life. Wei Bichen only knows that Niangniang was born in a farming family. Her parents valued boys over girls and treated her badly. She was admitted to university with high scores, but her parents did not let her go to university. She relied on her own hard work to earn money to study in university, so she had a knot in her heart and never went home for many years. He didn't know that Niangniang's family was fined a lot for having more children than allowed, and the family was very poor. Her two elder sisters' academic performance was not worse than Niangniang's, but they dropped out of school early to work for the family, and then got married. Although Ni's parents preferred to value their sons, they did not dislike their 3 daughters. The 2 elder sisters really couldn't afford their tuition. When it came to Niangniang, the family was a little better because of the betrothal gifts of the 2 elder sisters. Her parents gritted their teeth and let Niangniang go to high school. Otherwise, she would only be able to graduate from junior high school. After all, her two elder sisters only graduated from elementary school. Ni's parents really couldn't afford to send Niangniang to college, but Niangniang hated her parents and brother because of this. She left a mountain village where her family lived and worked to earn money to go to college. She never went back home, never sent a penny to her family, and never thought about giving her parents alimony. Ni's parents raised Niangniang up, and even though they spent less money on her, they did their best to complete the task of raising her. As a child, Niangniang has the responsibility to support her parents. However, she has forgotten her parents and her younger brother who is not yet an adult, and she doesn't care about them. Her selfish and cold heart is obvious. She can do this to her parents and relatives, so she will abandon her lover if she can, and betray him if she can. Although this lover is very capable and rich, there is a suitor who is also rich and powerful, but has a personality that pleases her more. Niangniang easily turned to the arms of the suitor, and even betrayed her ex-boyfriend for her current boyfriend, and took the business secrets of her ex-boyfriend's company to her current boyfriend's company. Su Qingni walked to the chair opposite Wei Bichen and sat down. Wei Bichen was not in the mood to greet Su Qingni. He lowered his head to deal with the documents. Although Niangniang's betrayal was a big blow to him and made him a little decadent, Wei Bichen had a tough personality and strong psychological endurance, and he was not defeated. Moreover, the company suffered losses due to the planning leak. As the helmsman of the company, the most important thing in front of him was to quickly deal with the crisis facing the company, and he didn't have much time to indulge in love. Su Qingni pushed the thermos on the table towards Wei Bichen and said, "The company won't collapse for a while, but if you don't take care of your health, it will collapse soon. Here, Mom made you some loving chicken soup, drink it quickly to fill your stomach, so that you won't have a stomach ache again." Wei Bichen raised his head and frowned so hard that he could kill a mosquito. "Wait a little longer, wait until I finish processing this document before drinking it." Su Qingni shook her head. "Mom told me to supervise you." Wei Bichen looked at his brother's hands on the computer keyboard, and reluctantly compromised. He walked to the sofa with the thermos and sat down, opening a bottle cap. Su Qingni took out a bowl and chopsticks from the bag she brought and handed them to Wei Bichen. Wei Bichen poured a cup of chicken soup and drank it. Su Qingni took out a thermos lunchbox with rice and vegetables in it, and placed them one by one in front of Wei Bichen. After drinking the chicken soup, Wei Bichen picked up the white rice. He didn't eat fast. This was the health habit of the Wei family. No matter how anxious they were, they had to chew their food slowly and not wolf it down. "Su, did you know this a long time ago?" Wei Bichen suddenly asked. "What?" Su Qingni was puzzled. Wei Bichen said, "When Niangniang came to our house, your attitude towards her was always lukewarm, unlike your parents. Although you didn't like Niangniang before, your impression of her became much better later. And you always looked the same. Now think about it, the way you looked at Niangniang at that time was as if you were watching a good show. Did you know something at that time?" "Oh, that's because I think Niangniang is very fake." Su Qingni said, "Generally, daughters raised in patriarchal families, especially those with poor financial conditions, are either soft-hearted or have some extreme personalities, but Niangniang shows self-improvement and simplicity and kindness. I'm not saying that a family like hers can raise a simple girl. So she can only be pretending. Besides, don't you think the personality displayed by Niangniang is very similar to those White Lotus heroines in TV dramas in recent years?" Wei Bichen. Although he doesn't watch TV much, he would occasionally glance at it and listen to his colleagues gossip about the plot and the male and female protagonists. By comparison, Niangniang's performance is really similar to what his younger brother said. Wei Bichen sighed. "I don't see it as clearly as you do." Su Qingni was proud. "Of course, everyone else is drunk but I am the only one sober." Wei Bichen's face sank and said, "Then why didn't you remind me?" Su Qingni spread her hands. "Given your condition at that time, would it be useful for me to remind you? I might even be a villain and you would think that I am destroying the relationship between you and Niangniang." Wei Bichen. After a long while, Wei Bichen finally spoke. "I'm sorry, Su. It was obviously my own fault, but I didn't know people well and blamed you. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter." Su Qingni smiled indifferently. "I understand your feelings." Wei Bichen sighed and asked, "Am I useless? I was fooled by a woman to this extent and even implicated my own company." Su Qingni patted her eldest brother on the shoulder and said, "It's not that you are useless, but love will make smart people stupid and excellent people stupid. So I never believe in love, your brother. It's better to be practical in life. Wei Bichen felt strange. He used to educate his younger brother, but now his younger brother was the one educating him. This feeling was a bit unpleasant. Wei Bichen put down his bowl and chopsticks and said to Su Qingni, "I've finished my meal, and your supervision work is also completed. Let's go home. I have to work." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42 Modern Dandy 9. Wei Bichen is very capable, and Wei's enterprise is not a small company. If a commercial secret is leaked, it will collapse. With Wei Bichen leading a group of employees to make up for it, this incident will soon pass. Although Wei's enterprise suffered some losses, the losses were not large because they tried their best to make up for it. Before Su Qingni set off to Australia again, she heard that Nipandi and her current boyfriend were going to hold a wedding. Su Qingni was not optimistic about Nipandi's marriage. Although Nipandi's current boyfriend Li Cheng loves Nipandi very much, Li Cheng's parents do not like Nipandi, and they are even more opposed to Li Cheng marrying Nipandi. Li's parents are not as open-minded as Wei's parents. They think Nipandi is excellent and their son likes her, so they try to accept Nipandi. But Li's parents pay attention to family background and interests, and they will never accept a daughter-in-law like Nipandi. However, Li Cheng ignored his parents' opposition and suppressed his parents' opposition with a tough attitude and married Nipandi. Although the problem seems to be solved, the actual contradiction is suppressed and will rebound sooner or later. Moreover, the original owner is also an acquaintance of Li Cheng and knows Li Cheng's tastes and preferences. He likes simple and kind little white flowers, real little white flowers, not the disguised little white flowers like Nipandi. When Li Cheng sees Nipandi's true nature, their marriage will come to an end. Su Qingni told Wei Bichen his analysis, and Wei Bichen smiled after listening. He has completely let go and regarded Nipandi as a stranger. This is related to the fact that although he likes Nipandi, he does not love her deeply. Su Qingni finally entered the RFS club. Her calmness and boldness, and her flexible hands, let her learn the stunts taught by the instructor once and can also draw inferences from one example. The instructor was very happy to be able to teach such a student. Without waiting for the training course technology, the instructor recommended her to join the RFS club and become a formal member of the club, so that she can play with the club and participate in competitions. Su Qingni has been in the RFS club for 3 years. During this time, she participated in some team competitions with the club. As for individual competitions, she has never participated in one due to some reasons. "Victor, do you want to reconsider it?" The club leader persuaded Su Qingni with a somewhat ugly face, wanting Su Qingni to take back her decision. Su Qingni smiled and shook her head. "Karen, I have made up my mind." Karen slammed the table angrily and asked, "Are you leaving the club because you can't participate in the individual competition?" "Victor, it's not that the club doesn't allow you to participate, but you are not from Australia after all, and you can't represent Australia." Su Qingni smiled very politely. "I know, so I'm going back home." "Karen, so you want to represent your country in the competition?" "Haha, I'm not saying, Victor, you are too much of a wish. Everyone knows that pilots from your country have never been able to participate in the World Aerobatic Grand Prix." Su Qingni still smiled. "I know that the main reason why our players have not been able to participate in the Grand Prix is the lack of funds, and it is difficult to buy high-quality aircraft that can perform aerobatics. But I'm not short of money, I can afford it." Karen forgot that the guy in front of him is a super rich man. The plane she is flying now is bought by her own money, and she also spent more money to customize it. The quality of the aircraft is the best among all the aircraft in the club, which can support Su Qingni to perform more difficult flying moves. Su Qingni stood up with a smile. "Karen, I'm going back to my country. We will be rivals when we meet in the competition. Please show mercy then." Karen could only laugh, shook hands with Su Qingni, and watched Su Qingni leave gracefully, his face twitching. Back at the Wei family, Su Qingni caught the child who rushed over. The child was in a bad mood and looked listless. Su Qingni picked him up and asked, "What's wrong? Who made my son unhappy?" The child put his little face on Su Qingni's shoulder, put his mouth next to Su Qingni's ear, and whispered, "My aunt is going to give birth to a baby." Su Qingni understood that the child was worried that the eldest sister-in-law of the Wei family had a baby, and he was not the only child in the family. The love of grandparents would be divided, and they would even love the baby more instead of him. After experiencing the incident at the Yu family, the child was sensitive and worried. Su Qingni patted his little butt and said with a smile, "Wouldn't it be nice to have a brother or sister to play with you?" The child pouted. Su Qingni raised her hand and pinched his little face, and said softly, "Don't worry, your grandparents love you the most. Even if they have a grandson, they will treat you the same as before. And your dad, I am only your dad, and I will not be taken away by others, don't worry." The child felt more at ease, and the whole person was no longer listless, and regained a bit of vitality. Thinking of his biological father saying that he would have a brother and sister to play with him in the future, the little boy began to look forward to it. Su Qingni coaxed the child and looked up at Wei's mother, who was standing not far away. She saw that the worry in Wei's mother's eyes was much less, and turned into relief, and she couldn't help but smile at Wei's mother. Wei's mother also smiled, walked forward and stretched out her hand to take the child. But the child twisted his body and slid to the ground. He stretched out his little hand and held Wei's mother's right hand, and said in a baby voice, "I'm too heavy, Grandma can't hold me, just hold me." Wei's mother's smile was even more relieved. She squatted down and patted the child on the face twice, and said softly, "Grandma asked someone to make Xiaoxi's favorite strawberry milkshake. I'll take you to eat it now." Su Qingni smiled and said, "Mom, is there any for me? I want to eat it too." Wei's mother smiled and said, "Not for you." Su Qingni pretended to be shocked. "Mom, you don't love your son anymore. Your son hasn't come home for such a long time, and you don't even ask how he is doing outside." Wei's mother snorted, "With your enjoyable personality, would you wrong yourself? You are doing better outside than at home." Su Qingni, although this is true, as the saying goes, a mother worries about her son even when he is 1,000 miles away, you should at least show a little concern. Your son is so sad to see you like this. Mother Wei, go, stop acting. Go back to your room and wash up. I'll ask Aunt Zhang to make you a bowl of noodles. You definitely won't eat food on the plane. Su Qingni smiled and agreed, and went upstairs to her room. After washing up, the servant brought a bowl of tomato fried egg noodles to her room. Su Qingni ate the noodles and lay on the bed with her eyes closed to rest. In the evening, Su Qingni got up and went downstairs, and saw her eldest sister-in-law. Brother Wei got married a year ago. His wife is the daughter of a family in the same circle. Her background and personality are somewhat similar to Mother Wei. Chapter 43 Modern Dandy 10. After the incident with Ni Pandi, Wei Bichen no longer had any hope for love. He had been reluctant to get married in order to find someone he liked. Although Wei Bichen looked serious on the surface, he still had some expectations for love and marriage. However, after being cheated by the so-called love, Wei Bichen gave up these expectations and agreed to go on a blind date with Wei's mother. He chose a girl with a similar family background and a good personality to date. After dating for half a year, the two entered the marriage hall. Now, Wei's wife is pregnant again. Wei Bichen's life is no longer passionate, but it is also perfect. Su Qingni rested at home for 2 days and then went to her own entertainment company. The scale of the entertainment company has not expanded, but the entire entertainment industry dare not underestimate this company. In recent years, none of the movies and TV series invested by this entertainment company have not made money. Among them, the movies shot by Chai Zhuan have become popular every time they are released, and the return on investment is dozens or even hundreds of times. Although this company is small in scale, there are only a few people, and there is no artist, but the money it earns occupies a quarter of the entire entertainment industry. Everyone thinks that this entertainment company is blessed by the god of wealth, but only people inside the company know that the god of wealth of the company is their boss Wei Bixu, a dandy who is looked down upon by everyone. Humph, a bunch of blind people. Their boss is not a dandy. Their boss has a unique vision. All the movies and TVs invested in are decided by the boss. The boss can also write wonderful scripts and promote Chai Zhuan, a hot director. Their boss is the best. However, the boss seems to enjoy the title of dandy, so they will not expose the boss's true face. Seeing other people's disdainful expressions on the boss, it is actually quite fun. Su Qingni checked the company's account. Wow, there are already more than 10 billion in cash. Haha, it turns out that the entertainment industry is the fastest place to make money. Su Qingni said to the person in charge of the company, transfer me 1.5 billion, and the remaining 400 million for company expenses. Is it enough? The person in charge of the company nodded. It's enough, of course it's enough. Although some big movies now cost 100 or 200 million yuan each, the boss has a good vision. The money invested will not go down the drain. It will come back after a circle, and it will also attract more small money. Chai Zhuan was curious about how Su Qingni got so much money at once. Relying on the fact that he knew Su Qingni first, he kept holding Su Qingni's thigh and didn't let go. He thought he had a good relationship with Su Qingni, so he asked boldly, "Second Master, what are you going to do with so much money?" Although Wei's second master is a person who likes to enjoy spending money lavishly, this money is too much? Can he spend it all? Don't call me second master, Su Qingni said. Because of the popularity of a certain online game, Su Qingni stopped others from calling him second master. His favorite game character is called Tang Wuel. He thinks Tang Wuel's personality is very similar to the original owner, and Tang Wuel was also exhausted by a certain second master. She is dissatisfied with this second master, so how can she accept the title of second master? Mr. Wei. Chai Zhuan quickly changed the topic. With so much money, do you want to enter Hollywood? I don't have that much energy. Su Qingni denied Chai Zhuan's guess and laughed. Buy a plane. Chai Zhuan, eh? He is indeed a rich man. Mr. Wei, now that you have bought the plane, can I take a ride on it? Chai Zhuan asked expectantly. It's a private plane that only rich people can ride. I also want to take a ride on it once, so that I can have something to brag about in the future. Su Qingni laughed. I'm afraid you don't dare to take my plane. How is that possible? Chai Zhuan said, I'm looking forward to it. Su Qingni, even if I'm the pilot. Huh? Chai Zhuan was dumbfounded. Su Qingni patted Chai Zhuan on the shoulder. Since you are so looking forward to taking my plane, when I buy the plane, I will invite you to take it first. Chai Zhuan cap, is it too late to regret now? Before buying the plane, Su Qingni first bought a piece of land in the suburbs and built a small airport. She has an international pilot's license and the qualifications to participate in international competitions with a club. She submitted her plan and application together. The government department did not make it difficult and readily approved the land for her, and other relevant procedures were also approved. Among them, the Aviation Sports Association contributed the most. The country still attaches great importance to aerobatics, otherwise it would not have set Z City as the venue for the World Formation Aerobatics Championship. It's just that the country is indeed much worse in individual competitions, and there are almost no players participating. Now there is a person who wants to establish an aerobatic club, and the goal is still the World Aerobatics Grand Prix to achieve a zero breakthrough in the Grand Prix. How could the Aviation Sports Association not pay attention to it and support it? Exclamation mark. When Wei's father and Wei Bichen heard that Su Qingni had bought a piece of land, they were still wondering what this guy was going to do. As a result, when they heard that Su Qingni was going to build an airport, the two thought that their youngest son brother's squandering had reached a new level. The main reason was that they didn't know that Su Qingni was doing aerobatics. They thought that Su Qingni bought a private plane for her own enjoyment and built an airport specifically to accommodate the private plane. The two scolded Su Qingni for being a spendthrift, but they only scolded her a few words, unlike before when they had to pull Su Qingni in front of them and teach her a lesson. Anyway, Su Qingni was not a child anymore, and he spent his own money, not the family's money. Tisk tisk, I didn't expect that the youngest son brother was good at spending money and making money. Brother Wei was somewhat glad that his younger brother was not interested in his family's business, otherwise, with his ability to make money, the person in charge of the family business would become Su Qingni. Because of the misunderstanding of Wei's father and brother, it was not until Su Qingni built the Aerobatic Flying Club and participated in international competitions that Wei's father and Wei Bichen knew that their youngest son brother was actually engaged in such a dangerous sport. Su Qingni recruited several people who also did aerobatics to join her club. They all had very good skills, but because they were not as rich as Su Qingni, they did not have their own exclusive aircraft and could not participate in the World Aerobatic Grand Prix. When Su Qingni contacted them, she made an agreement that Su Qingni would invest in them, buy them exclusive aircraft, and be responsible for the maintenance costs of their exclusive aircraft. Although the money to buy an aircraft is not small, it is only a few million or tens of millions, but the cost of maintaining an aircraft is very high. Often a stunt pilot can afford a private aircraft, but cannot maintain his own exclusive aircraft well. Not long after, Su Qingni purchased 10 special stunt aircraft, and her aerobatic flying club was finally established. Chapter 44 Modern Dandy's Eye. Su Qingni called Chaizhuan and asked you if he was free recently. Yes, I must be. Chaizhuan said with full energy. Even if he was not free, he had to be free when Zhuan summoned him. And he was indeed free recently. He had just finished filming a movie and achieved good results. He was just thinking of taking a break. Su Qingni said, then come with me to Australia. Chaizhuan asked doubtfully, go to Australia? Travel. Su Qingni chuckled, please take the plane I fly. Chaizhuan. Chaizhuan swallowed his saliva and whispered, can I not go? Su Qingni, haha. Chaizhuan wiped off the something that was stuck on his face and said resignedly, I'll go. The next day, Su Qingni took Chaizhuan, who exuded the aura of I'm dead, to Australia by plane. When they arrived in Australia, Su Qingni took a taxi and took Chaizhuan to Proflight Flight Academy. Her exclusive plane was still parked at Proflight Flight Academy. Is this the flight academy? Chaizhuan looked at the gate of the academy in surprise and asked Su Qingni, Mr. Wei, are you here to sign up for study? Su Qingni smiled and said, I have graduated from here for more than 3 years. Chaizhuan, huh? Su Qingni, so you don't have to worry about my flying skills. I will never let you fall from the sky. Chaizhuan, really? Su Qingni, of course, I am an outstanding student who graduated from Proflight Flight Academy. I can show you my driver's license and outstanding student certificate. No need. Chaizhuan waved his hand, I believe you. Chaizhuan breathed a long sigh of relief and put his heart back in his heart. However, he didn't know that he was relieved too early. When he sat in the co-pilot seat and waited until the plane took off, Chaizhuan looked at the blue sky and white clouds outside and felt quite relaxed. I didn't expect Mr. Wei to be so cool that he actually drove his own private plane back to China. Sit tight. Su Qingni glanced at Chaizhuan beside him and reminded him with a mischievous smile on the corner of his mouth. Chaizhuan? ? I was sitting well. Su Qingni laughed out loud, and along with her laughter, the nose of the plane suddenly lifted up, and soon the whole plane was at a 90-degree angle to the ground, flying straight up. Chaizhuan's face turned pale, with no support from his feet, and only the safety belt and his back giving him a sense of security. He was so scared that he wanted to cry. Wei Xiao, what are you doing? Can't we fly steadily? Stunt flying. Su Qingni smiled, I forgot to tell you, I'm into stunt flying. Chaizhuan, the plane suddenly turned over and turned its head, and the nose of the plane changed from vertically upward to vertically downward, flying rapidly towards the ground. The tears that just appeared in the corners of Chaizhuan's eyes were thrown away, which was very consistent with the lyrics, whose tears are flying. Then it was Su Qingni's performance time, aileron roll, 4-point slow roll, vertical roll. Chaizhuan no longer shed tears, his whole body was numb, and he only felt that half of his foot was hovering at the intersection of the yin and yang worlds. Su Qingni laughed and played a lot before returning to normal flight. Turning his head to look at Chaizhuan beside him, he saw that the young man's eyes were numb. How is it? Are you still alive? Su Qingni handed over a small bottle of whiskey. Come on, take a sip to give yourself courage. Chaizhuan took it woodenly, opened the bottle cap woodenly, and drank a sip of wine woodenly, and then another sip of wine. After drinking more than half of the bottle of wine, Chaizhuan's face turned red like a monkey's butt, and he was no longer numb, and finally came back to his senses. Mr. Wei, you are not a good person. Chaizhuan accused, can't you tell me in advance that you are going to do aerobatics? Let me be mentally prepared. Su Qingni said insincerely, sorry, I forgot. I don't believe you. Chaizhuan gritted his teeth. Su Qingni asked, how does it feel? Chaizhuan, feeling? Haha, this is the first time I feel so close to death. Su Qingni, don't you feel excited or excited at all? Chaizhuan told the truth, I just felt scared. You are useless. Su Qingni said, when we return to China, I will take you flying a few more times, and you will be able to find the feeling of excitement and excitement. No. Chaizhuan was so scared that he screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Look at your bear. Su Qingni said contemptuously, how can you shoot a movie about aerobatics if you don't feel anything yourself? What? Chaizhuan immediately regained his composure when he heard that it was related to the movie, and the speed of his expression changed so much that Su Qingni was amazed. Su Qingni said, I wrote a script about aerobatics. I'll give it to you after we get off the plane. You can study it. My flying club can go abroad for the parts of the film that require aerobatics. Okay. Chaizhuan nodded vigorously. He had already started planning the preparations for the new crew in his mind, and he was looking forward to the new script. The script written by the Golden Thigh himself is definitely the best of the best. The plane finally stopped on land. Chaizhuan climbed down from the plane with trembling legs. When his feet landed on the ground, he felt relieved. Even though Su Qingni did not perform aerobatics again later, and the plane flew back to China very smoothly, his heart was still in his chest. He was really afraid that Chaizhuan would do another vertical roll or something. It was too exciting, so exciting that his heart was about to vomit out of his mouth. Su Qingni looked at him and clicked her tongue twice, then took out a script from her handbag and threw it to Chaizhuan's cheek. Chaizhuan hurriedly took the script. Although he hadn't read it yet, his hands and legs stopped shaking. Holding the script, he followed Su Qingni closely out of the airport. Su Qingni introduced him. This is the flying club I founded. Come here if you want to find me in the future. Chaizhuan nodded repeatedly, and his admiration for Su Qingni was like a torrent of water. Although he couldn't stand the excitement of aerobatics, it didn't prevent him from admiring people who could do aerobatics and Su Qingni's high-end way of having fun. Most of the other dandy boys played racing cars in pursuit of excitement, but young Master Wei played much better than them. He played flying planes, which was more exciting and more expensive. He finally understood where Major General Wei spent more than 1 billion yuan. Playing flying planes is indeed a waste of money. After sending Chaizhuan away, Su Qingni went to meet the person in charge of the club. The person in charge handed Su Qingni a competition schedule. Before going to Australia, Su Qingni had the club sign up for internationally renowned aerobatic competitions, and now all the responses have come in. Your skills are naturally the best among our group. Chapter 45 Modern Dandies I. Your skills are naturally the best among our group. Maybe our club will win a trophy in this World Aerobatic Grand Prix. The person in charge said, but in terms of the team competition, you still need to work well with your teammates. There are still 2 months before the World Formation Flying Competition. You and your teammates need to become tacitly coordinated within these 2 months. Su Qingni nodded. Starting tomorrow, I will live in the airport and train with my teammates. The person in charge breathed a sigh of relief. He was afraid that this young master would be too arrogant and unwilling to cooperate with other teammates in training, who told others to treat aerobatics as a part of their careers, while Wei Ershao just treats aerobatics as his fun. Su Qingni went home to get in touch with his son. Originally, he wanted to bring his son to the airport to play for a few days, but the child had to go to kindergarten, so he gave up the idea. In the next period of time, Su Qingni began a journey of running in with his teammates. Her teammates were originally in the same team, and they had a tacit understanding. The only one who didn't have a tacit understanding was him, the new member of the team, and he relied on himself as the boss to be the team leader. The team members were reluctant at first, but after seeing Su Qingni's skills, they changed their attitudes and recognized Su Qingni as the boss. Occasionally, they asked Su Qingni for advice on aircraft technology. Su Qingni didn't hide anything, which made everyone feel that Su Qingni was generous and more convinced of her. In this way, everyone recognized Su Qingni's position as the leader, and obeyed all the orders she issued without any objection. In this way, Su Qingni was smoothly integrated into the group, and the team members became more and more tacit. During the training, Chaizhuan brought the crew of the new movie Aerial Ballet to the airport for help, filmed many scenes of Su Qingni and her teammates training, and asked teammates to double for the leading and supporting roles several times, filming countless wonderful scenes. Su Qingni looked at the male and female protagonists and several important supporting roles sitting beside her, with a wicked smile on her lips, and said with a smile, "Everyone, do you want to fly into the blue sky and experience the excitement of aerobatics in person?" Several male actors were a little eager to try. Boys are bold and young, and they just happened to take on this movie, so they still have some impulse and yearning in their hearts. The actresses were timid and did not dare to step forward. At this time, the actress who played the second female role smiled and stepped forward and said, "Does Wei Xiao fly a plane?" Su Qingni raised her eyebrows. "Yes." The second female role smiled softly. "Then I will feel it." Su Qingni smiled. "Don't regret it." The second female role's eyes moved, as if she was throwing a coquettish eye to Su Qingni, but it seemed that she didn't. depending on how the person being looked at understood it. I believe in Wei Xiao's skills. Su Qingni smiled, then get on the plane. Then she took the second female role to her own exclusive plane. The other actresses looked at the backs of the two, and their faces were not very good. Su Qingni took the second female lead to fly into the blue sky. At first, it was fine. The second female lead was very calm. Su Qingni made a vertical downward movement. The second female lead only turned pale a little, and was in the mood to tease Su Qingni with ambiguous words. Don't say it, this girl's emotional intelligence and means are very high. If it was the original owner or other men, she would have been seduced by her. However, Su Qingni is not a man, and she has seen many beauties, and there are many women with more sophisticated means of seduction. Su Daji, Zhao Fian, Yang Gifei. The second female lead can't even compare to a finger of these women. Su Qingni raised the corner of her mouth again, and suddenly increased the speed, and then did an aileron roll, and then an Immelmann flip. After rising, half roll inverted, first level flight and then enter the positive somersault. After reaching the top, complete half somersault, and then do another half roll. The second female lead's face suddenly turned pale as snow. But that's not all. Su Qingni performed the most difficult aerobatic maneuvers one by one: cobra maneuver, bell maneuver, drum maneuver, hammerhead maneuver, curbit, flat spiral with falling leaves, and levesman. Seeing that the second female was about to vomit, Su Qingni quickly landed the plane and said coldly, "If you vomit in my plane and dirty it, I will ban you." The vomit had already reached her mouth, but the second female swallowed it back and turned to look at Su Qingni with a wronged and pitiful look. There was some accusation in her eyes of "why don't you pity me," but more of it was an almost materialized hook. Su Qingni sneered, "If you want to seduce me, you must practice your courage first, otherwise don't think about me. My wife is precious, and I can't let you dirty her." The second female. "Damn it. Who said that the second young master of the Wei family is easy to seduce, and you can seduce him just by throwing him a wink? Damn, such an unromantic man would be attracted to women?" The second female lead felt that all the news about the second son of the Wei family in the entertainment industry was a misunderstanding. She returned to the crew with weak legs and received mocking looks from other actresses. The male actors were taken to the blue sky by stunt pilots to experience aerobatics. Although they were also weak when getting off the plane, they gained a lot. When filming again, they were much more natural and smoother. 2 months later, Su Qingni took her club members and the crew to City Z to participate in the World Formation Aerobatics competition held in City A. The crew contacted the organizing committee of the competition in advance and would shoot some scenes of the competition to be put in the movie. The organizing committee thought this was a good publicity opportunity and opened the door for the crew. Before the competition, Su Qingni called home and chatted with Wei's mother and son. She did not tell them that she was about to compete, but only said that she would take her son to the amusement park for a day after returning home. The child was very happy. Su Qingni put down the phone and saw that the team members were staring at her with burning eyes. Su Qingni touched her cheek and asked in confusion, "What's on my face?" "Nothing." Zhang Chunlei, one of the team members, said, "Boss, aren't you nervous?" He was in the mood to coax his son and promised to take his son to the amusement park. Su Qingni laughed and said, "I'm not nervous. The competition is no big deal to me, it's like playing." The team members. The evil rich man, the evil dandy, the evil boss. The club manager smiled and said, "The boss has participated in many international competitions and has experience. Naturally, he won't be nervous." Only then did everyone retract their eyes that were condemning the rich man. Chapter 46 Modern Dandy 13. Maybe because the time was too short and the running in was not enough, Su Qingni's team did not win the championship in this competition, but they won the 3rd place, which was a very good result. The other people in the club were very excited. Su Qingni waved her hand and gave everyone in the club a big red envelope as a reward. Several team members received the most rewards, 500,000 yuan each. The one with the least reward was naturally the cleaning lady in the club, who only received a reward of 10,000 yuan. But she also smiled and said that she was lucky to get into such a good company. When Su Qingni went to the bathroom one time, she happened to catch the cleaning lady talking on the phone with someone, bragging about her boss, company and good treatment, looking very proud. Su Qingni was sure that the cleaning lady didn't see that she was not flattering herself, but that the cleaning lady was really showing off to others, and she couldn't help laughing. After returning home and taking the children to the amusement park, Su Qingni returned to the club. And Wei's father and Wei Bichen finally knew what they were doing by opening an airport. I forbid you to drive fast, but you just fly a plane. You are getting more and more high-end. Father Wei was so angry that he picked up a teacup and threw it at Su Qingni, but Su Qingni dodged it flexibly. Mother Wei quickly stopped Father Wei. If you have something to say, just say it, don't throw things. What if it hits Su's head? A loving mother often spoils her son. He is just spoiled by you. Father Wei said to Mother Wei angrily. Su Qingni hurriedly spoke for Mother Wei. Dad, you can't say that. Although Mom loves me, don't you do the same? I am what I am now. In fact, you and your wife spoiled me together. You. Father Wei was so angry that he wanted to smash the cup again. Su Qingni stuck out her tongue, but her eyes were a little complicated. The original owner would become a playboy, and it was Father Wei's intention to raise him in that direction. The family already has a qualified heir, so the younger son does not need to be too outstanding. You don't know your limits. Wei Bichen frowned and scolded his brother. Plane is more dangerous than car, and it's the kind of high-risk aerobatic flight. If something goes wrong, you're dead. If you race, you might still have a chance of survival, but if you fly a plane, as long as there is an accident, you're dead. Brother, my dear brother, don't curse your brother like that. Su Qingni shouted exaggeratedly. Plane is much safer than car. Look at how many car accidents there are every year, how many plane accidents there are. Wei Bichen snorted. That's because people who fly planes don't seek death like you. Brother, I'm not seeking death, I'm using my skills. Su Qingni protested. Life-threatening skills. Wei Bichen said coldly. Transfer your flying club immediately, and don't touch such dangerous games again in the future. Sorry, I can't do it. Wei Bichen's eyebrows were raised. Are you going back to childhood, back to the middle school age, and have you learned to resist? Even if his brother really reached the middle school age, he was just a little bit out of line, and never had the courage to resist his father and his own orders. No. Su Qingni raised her right index finger and shook it. I'm mature now and have my own thoughts and judgments. Big brother, you can't always treat me like a child and tell me what I can and can't do. You should take care of your daughter. Wei Bichen's face was dark. Are you mature? If you are mature, will you still play that kind of life-threatening game? He wiped his face. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have restricted you from playing with cars. At least you have a better chance of survival playing with cars than playing with airplanes. Su Qingni laughed in her heart, but spoke solemnly. Dad, brother, believe me this time, I'm really not playing with my life. I haven't enjoyed enough. Well, you can go and watch my flying show and see how great I am. No. Wei's father directly denied it. I'm old and my body is not good. I don't want to have another heart attack. Su Qingni shrugged her shoulders. Your annual physical examination report shows that you are healthy, healthier than many people in their 40s. It would be strange if you were scared to get sick. Father Wei ordered, listen to your brother, close your club immediately. Otherwise, I will take action. Su Qingni curled her lips. Dad, I'm afraid you can't do it. Father Wei snorted. In S City, there is nothing that my Wei family can't do. Su Qingni laughed. Dad, although I funded the establishment of this club, the people behind it are the China Aviation Sports Association. Father Wei. It will be difficult to deal with it if the State Departments intervene. Bastard, when did he become so cunning and well-connected, and found a powerful backer for himself? Father Wei turned to Wei Bichen. Find a few people to follow this little bastard 24 hours a day, and don't let him go to the flying club again. Since it is impossible to take action against a flying club, let the little bastard not touch the plane again. Anyway, this kid's interest is intermittent. He used to be obsessed with racing and spent a lot of money to buy sports cars and modify them. After he was forbidden to play with cars, he was no longer obsessed with it, and turned to flying airplanes. Now that he was stopped from flying airplanes, he might turn his attention to other things. However, his son used to play with cars, and now he plays with flying airplanes. If he changes his interest again, will he play with rockets? Father Wei was embarrassed by his own imagination. Wei Bichen nodded and was about to call the bodyguard company to ask the bodyguard company to arrange personnel to watch over his troublesome little brother. This bodyguard company is a long-term partner of the Wei family, and the staff sent by the company are trustworthy to the Wei family. While Wei Bichen was pressing the keys, Su Qingni smiled and said, Dad, Big brother, I forgot to say one thing, I have signed up for the World Aerobatic Grand Prix. There are almost no players in our flower country who have attended this event. This time I signed up with the club members, which can be said to have achieved a zero breakthrough. The Aviation Sports Association attaches great importance to this competition, and I am the main player in the competition. Needless to say, Father Wei and Big Brother Wei knew what would happen. Veins on Father Wei and Big Brother Wei's foreheads popped out. A troublesome thing. In this case, they really had to stop Su Qingni from touching the plane and not let him participate in the competition. After the competition, you will quit the flying club. Wei's father finally had to take a step back and asked Su Qingni. Even if he could participate in the international competition this time, Wei's father really had no confidence in his youngest son. He didn't think his son could get a good ranking. At most, he could only participate once. Without a ranking, the Aviation Sports Association would no longer pay attention to his youngest son. If he kept his youngest son away from aerobatics, he would have no excuse. Chapter 47 Modern Dandy 14. After the competition, you will quit the flying club. Let's talk about it after the competition. Su Qingni laughed. How could he not know what Wei's father was thinking, but he was destined to disappoint Wei's father. The World Aerobatic Grand Prix was just the beginning. Dad, big brother, do you want to go to the scene to watch your son's competition in person? Su Qingni invited him with a smile. This Grand Prix is held in China. You can take a day or two to watch the competition without delaying your official business. Wei's father and Wei Bichen looked at each other and made a decision in their hearts. It would be better to go to the scene to watch it. It would be better to go to the scene than to worry at home. If something happened, they could rush to their younger son brother's side as soon as possible. It can be seen how little confidence these two people have in their younger son brother, and how little they are optimistic about him. The day of the Grand Prix came, and Su Qingni led the team members, followed by 2 bodyguards, and set off for H province. Wei's father and big brother Wei also set off with Wei's mother and Wei Jiaxi. Wei's eldest sister-in-law took care of her daughter at home. Wei's little girl was less than half a year old and could not go far. In addition to the young boy Wei Jiaxi, Wei's father, Wei's mother and Wei's elder brother were all worried. They were afraid that Su Qingni would get into an accident. In their usual impression, Wei Bixu was an unreliable person. They were really afraid that Wei Bixu would lose his life. On the contrary, the 2 bodyguards who followed Su Qingni had great confidence in Su Qingni. These 2 bodyguards were retired Special Forces soldiers and could also fly airplanes. After watching Su Qingni's flight, they gave a thumbs up to Su Qingni's flying skills. This skill is something that few people in the Air Force can match. Su Qingni was going to compete, and it was useless for the bodyguards to follow her, so they sent them to Wei's elder brother and Wei's father. The Wei family sat in the VIP seats, their hearts in their throats, and they were really uneasy. Seeing this, Bodyguard A spoke to comfort the Wei family. Mr. Wei, Mrs. Wei, and young Master Wei, you don't have to worry too much. Young Master Wei's driving skills are very good. He will definitely be safe and sound. He may even win an award. Wei Bichen looked at Bodyguard A. Are you so confident in Asu? Bodyguard A nodded. Lin Zhi and I can both fly planes, and our skills are not as good as young masters. The 3 members of the Wei family were shocked and opened their mouths. Wei's mother didn't know, but Wei's father and Wei Bichen knew that the employees recruited by Bodyguard A's company were all retired from the army, and they were either the sharp knives of the army or retired special forces. Each of them has outstanding abilities. Not to mention cars, these people can drive airplanes and ships, and their skills are very strong. Bodyguard A said that Wei Bixu's skills are better than his, which is definitely not a lie. So, does Wei Bixu really have such a good flying skill? Wei's father and Wei Bichen took their son brother seriously. Perhaps, they had underestimated Wei Bixu before. The 2 people couldn't help but think of the entertainment company opened by Wei Bixu. Although this entertainment company is small in scale, it makes a lot of money and has become a legend in the entertainment industry. And Wei Bixu doesn't have strong ability to control such a cash cow? Wei's father, maybe the Wei family's education is wrong and needs to be corrected. Wei Bichen, if you have more than 2 sons, don't arbitrarily decide on the heir, and even if you decide on the heir, don't give up the training and education of other sons. The name of Su Qingni's flying club was mentioned in the broadcast, and Wei Bixu's name was mentioned, which made the Wei family tremble all over, and immediately concentrate and look at the sky. A plane flew into the sky and soared freely in the sky, as if the bird belonged to the sky. In the eyes of everyone, this plane seemed to have become the king of the sky and mastered the sky. The mouths of the Wei family members were wide open, and their eyes were about to fall out of the frame, and they didn't dare to breathe. Finally, Su Qingni's performance ended, and the Wei family members breathed a sigh of relief together. Very impressive. Wei Bichen said in admiration, I didn't expect Su to have such talent. Wei's father nodded, this child has really grown up. He is no longer just playing around, but has turned playing into his own career. The hearts of the Wei family members were tightly in their throats. This time they were not worried about Su Qingni's safety, but for Su Qingni's results. As the results were reported, the old fox Wei's father, the elegant lady Wei's mother, and the mature and steady Wei's elder brother all cheered without caring about their image. The young boy Wei Jiaxi cheered the loudest. He jumped up and waved his fists upward, proud of his own father. The young boy stared at the figure walking out of the plane on the screen with his eyes burning. Although the man was wearing a flight cap and glasses and his face could not be seen, at this moment, he felt that his father was handsome. In this Grand Prix, the club achieved very good results. Su Qingni won the championship, and two other members won the 5th and 9th places respectively, truly achieving the zero breakthrough of the stunt pilots of the Flower Country in the World Aerobatic Grand Prix. Watching Su Qingni standing on the podium and watching the national flag of their country rise with the national anthem, the Wei family felt a huge sense of pride, and Mother Wei's eyes were red. She wanted to point at Su Qingni and tell others that this was her son. This is her son. When Su Qingni returned home, her son ran towards her very enthusiastically and hugged her thighs skillfully. Dad, I want to fly a plane, too. Su Qingni smiled, picked up the child and hugged him. Okay, when you grow up, I will teach you how to fly a plane. The child, can't you teach me now? Su Qingni, you are still young now. But Dad can take you to the sky for a ride on a plane. The child's eyes sparkled, and he cheered, okay, I want to fly a plane to the sky. Dad, you promised me, don't go back on your word. No regrets. I'll take you out to play this weekend. Su Qingni promised the child. Big brother Wei came over and objected, Xiaoxi is too young. It's best not to do any exciting and thrilling actions. It might scare him. I won't be scared. Wei Jiaxi hugged Su Qingni's neck tightly, fearing that Su Qingni would regret it. Su Qingni chuckled and said, don't worry, big brother, take him to the sky. I won't do those stunts. I'll just take Xiaoxi to fly around for a few rounds. That's good. Big brother Wei smiled at Su Qingni, congratulations. You are very good. Thank you. Su Qingni smiled and stretched out her fist, matching Big Brother Wei's fist. I just have some skills in having fun. Big Brother Wei's heart was shaken, and his smile got bigger. Chapter 48 Modern Dandy 15. Su Qingni played aerobatics until she was 40. After the age of 40, although he was still energetic, he retired and played other things. Su Qingni chose the game of treasure hunting. Looking for treasures, this covers a wide range. Grave robbing is one of the branches. Although Su Qingni has read some novels about tomb robbing and watched 2 TV series adapted from tomb robbing novels, and drooled over the young and handsome men in the TV series, she herself is very principled and will never do such things as tomb robbing. You must know that Su Qingni is a frequent visitor to the netherworld. If she really robbed someone's tomb and then met the owner of the tomb in the underworld, wouldn't it be very embarrassing? Therefore, Su Qingni chose to salvage the treasures of the sunken ship on the seabed. So, after no longer playing with airplanes, the second young master of the Wei family started playing with boats again. Su Qingni learned to drive a boat by herself, bought a salvage boat, formed a salvage team, and took a group of people to sea in a heroic and high-spirited manner. Many people are watching the show. Although the second young master of the Wei family had a lot of fun playing with airplanes, they didn't believe that he could also play with boats. How could the treasures on the seabed be so easy to salvage? If they were really so easy to salvage, they would have been salvaged by other salvage companies long ago. How could it be the second young master of the Wei family's turn? But they were soon slapped in the face. Half a year later, the salvage ship of the second young master of the Wei family returned to the port, towing an 18th century ship, along with a ship full of antiques and gold coins. With just this one trip, the second young master of the Wei family made a lot of money. However, the second young master of the Wei family was very conscious. He said that he was not looking for treasures and salvaging shipwrecks for money, but for fun. Not all the things he salvaged belonged to him. All the valuable ones were donated to the country, and he was praised by the country. The second young master of the Wei family can be said to have a double harvest of reputation and money. Afterwards, the second young master of the Wei family also salvaged 3 or 4 shipwrecks one after another, and handled them as above. Therefore, he was cordially received by the number 1 leader of the country, which was simply a great honor for his ancestors. The Wei family's business also became better because of this incident, and all departments gave them the green light. Wei's father was so proud. His youngest son really made him proud. No one has calculated how much personal property the second son of the Wei family has, but people who are close to him know that the second son of the Wei family is very rich. His personal assets not only exceed the total assets of the Wei family, but even surpass those rich people in the Forbes list. It's just that the second son of the Wei family's assets are too scattered, and the people in Forbes don't know how many stocks and money the second son of the Wei family has. Su Qingni counted on her fingers. Scared, accidentally, she actually made hundreds of billions of assets in this world. Part of this money was earned from entertainment industry investments, part of it was exchanged for treasures from salvaging sunken ships, and part of it was earned from her investment in the stock market. Su Qingni's luck is particularly good. Whichever movie or TV series she invests in, it will be popular and profitable. When salvaging a sunken ship, she doesn't use her divine sense and magic power. She can find the location of the sunken ship by luck alone. When entering the stock market, this luck continues, and the stocks she buys have never fallen. Su Qingni exchanged all the money he earned in the stock market for shares of some large companies in the world. Now, he is one of the shareholders of many multinational groups. Su Qingni transferred all these shares to the original owner's son Wei Jiaxi, and the young man became the richest man in the world. When Wei Jiaxi was still young, Su Qingni often took Wei Jiaxi to fly in the blue sky. The little guy liked the feeling of flying freely. Su Qingni thought that the young man would also engage in aerobatics when he grew up, but the young man just regarded aerobatics as a hobby and a kind of relaxation, and chose to become a rigorous scientist. Su Qingni respected the child's choice. She invested a lot of money in Wei Jiaxi's laboratory, supporting Wei Jiaxi to overcome one problem after another and achieve several scientific and technological achievements. When Wei Jiaxi was 40 years old, he became a Nobel Prize winner. When transferring the shares, Su Qingni remembered her original plan, to buy the shares of Yu's enterprise and give them to her son, so that her son would become the major shareholder of Yu's enterprise, and slap the face of Yu's family. As a result, she had too much fun for a while and forgot about it. Su Qingni immediately implemented it. Not long after, with money, she actually bought all the stocks except those of the Yu family. Su Qingni handed the stocks to her son. Wei Jiaxi couldn't help but laugh when he saw the stocks. He knew that his father was venting his anger again. In the past 10 years, he would visit the old couple of the Yu family every New Year. He clearly felt that the old couple's feelings for him were getting weaker and weaker, and they paid more and more attention to the son and daughter born by Yu Qingming later. Even the daughter born by Yu Qingming later, in the eyes of the old couple of the Yu family, the weight was more than him, the eldest grandson. He knew that feelings need to be developed through long-term living together, but since Yu Qingming gave birth to a son and a daughter and handed them over to the old couple of the Yu family to take care of them, the old couple's minds were all on the little grandson and granddaughter, and they had no time to care about him, the eldest grandson who was brought back to the Wei family. The weight of the daughter plus the little grandson and granddaughter is much heavier than Wei Jiaxi. What's more, although the young grandson of the Yu family took his father's surname, the granddaughter took her mother's surname, and the eldest grandson changed his surname back to Wei. Naturally, the old couple's hearts were more biased. When Yu Jiaxi was young, the old couple of the Yu family would say that they would give the eldest grandson some shares, but as the years went by, the two of them stopped saying this. Obviously, they wanted the young grandson and granddaughter to inherit the Yu family's business, and the shares were left to these two grandsons. As for the eldest grandson, his father has a lot of shares in the Yu family. If he gives the eldest grandson some shares in the Yu family's business, then the eldest grandson will have a lot of shares. What if the eldest grandson relies on these shares to compete with the younger grandson for the Yu family's business? Because the old couple of the Yu family no longer mention giving the eldest grandson shares, and now they are also a face-saving thing when facing the eldest grandson. Wei Jiaxi was sad when he was a child, but now he has seen it through. He has no fate with his mother and the Yu family. He doesn't care about the shares of the Yu family's business, and he has no interest in the Yu family's business. How could the Yu family enterprise be better than his laboratory? His laboratory researched things that benefited the country and the people, and created much more value than a business group. I didn't expect that after I gave up the Yu family enterprise, my father bought all the shares other than the Yu family and gave them all to me, so that I could slap the Yu family in the face. This move was too childish, but also too heartwarming, making Wei Jiaxi want to laugh. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49 Modern Dandy 16. Su Qingni and Wei Jiaxi later found it funny when they thought about the expressions on the Yu family's faces when they found out that Wei Jiaxi was the largest shareholder of the company. Needless to say, the old couple of the Yu family regretted their decision, but Yu Qingming was plotting. She felt that her eldest son was not a good person, and when facing Wei Jiaxi, his nose was not a nose and his eyes were not eyes. Wei Jiaxi felt uncomfortable for the whole night because of this. Su Qingni accompanied Wei Jiaxi to drink for half a night, and took care of her son for another half a night. The next day, Wei Jiaxi woke up and discussed with Su Qingni to give all the shares of the Yu family's enterprises to Yu Qingming, as if the son had given Yu Qingming a one-time alimony for the rest of his life, but since then, he has no relationship with Yu Qingming. If anything happens to Yu Qingming, don't look for him as your son. Wei Jiaxi was completely disappointed with his mother. This alimony should be the most expensive. Su Qingni chuckled, give it if you want. Anyway, we are rich and don't care about the Yu family's shares. By the way, I bought 3% of Apple's shares a few days ago. I'll let the lawyer transfer it to you. 3% and 60% seem to be very different. But one is 3% of the shares of a world-class group, and the other is just 60% of the shares of a domestic family business. Converted into money, there is actually not much difference. The money exchanged for the 3% shares may be more. Dad, you are really generous. Wei Jiaxi smacked his lips. No wonder Uncle said that his money is just a drop in the bucket compared to your coins. Su Qingni smiled proudly. How about it? You want to worship your dad? Wei Jiaxi smiled. I have always admired you the most. Su Qingni, good child. Wei Jiaxi, is your attitude towards children the same? I am now a promising young man in my 20s. Can you please change your attitude? After receiving the shares that Wei Jiaxi asked the lawyer to transfer and the words that the lawyer told her, Yu Qingming didn't know what to feel in her heart. She sat in her office all day, and went home at night under the urging of her daughter's phone call. Seeing her cheerful little son and excellent daughter, Yu Qingming's boredom disappeared all of a sudden. Anyway, she had never cared about that son before, and she would not care about this son in the future. There was no such eldest son in her life. So what if the mother-son relationship was completely severed? She didn't care. The old couple of the Yu family felt uncomfortable for a long time after knowing this. Unlike Yu Qingming, the old people still valued blood. Now that their grandson had severed ties with the Yu family, they suffered a big blow. However, the mistake had been made, and both of them were people who valued face and would not bend down to apologize to the younger generation. Therefore, they never met Wei Jiaxi again. Knowing that the two elders had passed away, Wei Jiaxi squeezed out time from the experiment to attend their funeral. Su Qingni stayed in this world for a longer time, because in this world, she found the fragment of Shebishi's true spirit. Although it was very small, it was a discovery after all. Su Qingni was so happy that she stayed beside the true spirit until someone possessed by the true spirit died. Then she took away the fragment of Shebishi's true spirit and left this world. Well, let me say here that the person who possessed the fragment of Shebishi's true spirit was none other than Wei Bichen, the eldest brother of the Wei family. It was because of the fragment of Shebishi's true spirit that Wei Bichen's life was extremely smooth. But it was also because of the fragment of the true spirit of the witch clan that Wei Bichen brought some of the curse of the heaven on the witch clan, and brought the aura of a male supporting role, and the aura of a male supporting role that would be cannon fodder. Therefore, Wei Bichen's love ended in betrayal. Not only did his girlfriend cheat on him, but she also stole the company's business secrets to benefit her rival. It was because Su Qingni was by his side that her own lucky aura offset most of the aura of a male supporting role, so Wei Bichin's loss was not that great. Speaking of Nipandi, her ending is not so good. Nipandi is not Cinderella. After all, Cinderella is born into a famous family and received corresponding upper-class education when she was a child. However, Nipandi is not as good as Cinderella in terms of birth or etiquette, and is not liked or accepted by the prince's family. What's more, her nature is not the type that the prince likes, and everything she shows is just her own disguise. Sooner or later, the disguise will be torn apart. The prince eventually kicked her out of the house, and the news that she stole her ex-boyfriend and turned to the prince has long been spread, and no company is willing to use someone like her. Nipandi couldn't find a job, so she had to leave the city and her whereabouts are unknown. But it is certain that she never returned to her parents' home. Because one of the people in Su Qingni's salvage fleet is Nipandi's younger brother, and another is Nipandi's brother-in-law. Nipandi's younger brother studied a college major related to fisheries. He took his brother-in-law to work outside. Luckily, they happened to catch up with Su Qingni's salvage ship recruiting people. The two were in good health and strong, and Ni's younger brother knew the ocean well, so he became a member of the salvage team. After running on the sea with Su Qingni for a few years, both of them became small rich people. Su Qingni was very good to her men. After selling the sunken items, 20% of the proceeds were given to the employees of the salvage team. This money is not a small amount. After accumulating, everyone has a few million. Su Qingni occasionally chatted with his younger brother Ni and his brother-in-law and learned about their relationship with Nipandi. He also knew that Nipandi had never returned home since she graduated from high school and left home, and she didn't go back even after the divorce. Nipandi must look down on the members of her family and the poverty of her family, but she didn't know what she missed. She lost her family affection, her parents, brother and even two sisters still missed her. They were not angry because she never came back. They even made excuses for her, thinking that it was not easy for her to study and work outside and she had no time to go home. Her parents and brother were looking forward to her going home. She lost the opportunity to enjoy herself by going home knowing that her family was rich. Brother Ni returned to his hometown with the millions of dollars and used them as original capital to start a business, still engaged in ocean-related trade. The business grew bigger and bigger, and the funds increased from millions to tens of millions, and then to hundreds of millions. The Ni family is also rich. As long as Nipandi goes home, she will be a girl from a rich family. Unfortunately, she has never gone home in her life, and she has never known that she has passed by money. If this world is a novel world, Nipandi should be the heroine. She should have married into a wealthy family like Cinderella and lived a life of a noble lady, happy and joyful for the rest of her life. What a pity. Chapter 50 Possessed Little Girl. What a pity that Su Qingni was there. Even if she did nothing, she had contact with Nipandi. Nipandi's heroine aura was restrained by Su Qingni, and her fate also changed. A minute of silence for Nipandi. Su Qingni took Shebishi's true spirit to see Empress Pingxin. Empress Pingxin looked at the tiny true spirit and was very happy. Finally found a little. Su Qingni asked, "Didn't you find it in the first two worlds?" Empress Pingxin shook her head. There should be no brothers true spirits in those two worlds. Su Qingni was a little discouraged. She worked hard to cross the space turbulence and finally found two worlds, but it was useless. Empress Pingxin looked at her drooping shoulders and quickly comforted Su Qingni. There are countless worlds in the chaos. It's normal that some worlds do not have the true spirits of your brothers. Who knows, you may be able to find more true spirits in the next world. Su Qingni thought for a while and said, "I think the absence of the true spirits of the ancestors in the first two worlds may be related to the way of heaven in those worlds. Those worlds do not have any cultivation system because the rules of the way of heaven do not allow people to practice, and the true spirits of the ancestors carry the rules of the prehistoric world. The way of heaven in those worlds cannot tolerate them, and thus does not allow true spirit fragments to enter." That makes sense. Empress Pingxin nodded. "What book did you read that from?" Su Qingni laughed at once. "Yes, I read it on Duandian Novel Network." Duandian Novel Network? Empress Pingxin puzzled. Su Qingni laughed and said, "It's a novel website jointly established by our witch clan and the demon clan. Its format was modeled after the first website on Earth. You don't know, but there are a lot of talented people in our witch clan and the demon clan. After everyone has accepted the current knowledge on Earth, their imaginations have become bigger and bigger, even bigger than those of people on Earth. Among them, There is a demon clan member with the online name Luo Hangqiu who writes novels about the interstellar era that are more exciting than those written by people on Earth, and the concept of chaotic time and space is incorporated into it. Empress Pingxin wrote down the online name, and asked for the online name of the novel he wrote. When she has free time, she will go and read the novel to kill time. Luo Hangqiu. Empress Pingxin said with a smile, "This name is quite poetic." Su Qingni also smiled. "This name originally comes from the name of a poem." Empress Pingxin said, "Oh," and asked, "Which poem?" Su Qingni replied, "Mantingfang from the Song Dynasty, Luo Hangqiu." Empress Pingxin searched for this poem in her mind and smiled even more. "Is this Luo Hangqiu from the Qinglun clan?" Su Qingni smiled and nodded. "Isn't it? Qinglun's books are full, and the peach trees are already ripe with light red. She is intoxicated, and people applaud, and a smile brings the east wind. This little Qinglun is very literary." Empress Pingxin said, "You can't write a good novel without literary literacy." Su Qingni nodded again. "Yes, there is no amateur writing in our Duandian novel network, and every author has a good writing style." The two chatted for a while, and the Queen of Peace took the fragments of Shibi's true spirit back to the netherworld to be nurtured. Su Qingni turned on the wrist-shaped optical brain in her hand to read novels online. The new world combines the technology of the Earth and the magic of the prehistoric world, and the products produced are much more advanced than those on the Earth. The network here is more powerful and developed, and can even be connected to the Earth and other technological worlds through the netherworld. The residents of the new world can understand and absorb information from other worlds without leaving this world. These worlds include the interstellar world, where the technology is more advanced than that of the Earth, and all of them have been absorbed by the two tribes of the new world, and used for the construction of the new world. After reading several novels, Su Qingni began to practice. This is not the Earth, and it is not impossible to practice. The two tribes of the witches and liches still have to focus on practice and strength, and entertainment is just a pastime. After practicing, time passed quickly. When Su Qingni opened her eyes, more than 10 years had passed. Su Qingni went to the Earth and took a look. The Earth had changed a lot. Maglev flying cars had replaced old-fashioned cars. Earthlings had begun to mine resources on the Moon and Mars. Holographic online games had also been developed. However, artificial intelligence was relatively backward, and the NPCs in the game had to be played by real people. Su Qingni copied these new technologies into her optical brain and decided to learn when she went to other worlds to kill time. After doing all this, Su Qingni started time travel again. I came to the dividing line of the new world. Su Qingni possessed a little girl. The little girl was only 16 or 17 years old, with a beautiful appearance and delicate skin, but her feet and hands were covered with blood blisters, and her body was weak and thin. There were whip marks on her back and marks on the inside of her thighs. The girl was tortured until she was almost dead. When Su Qingni's soul possessed her, the girl had already passed away. Maybe others thought she was dead and just threw her on the side of the mountain road. If Su Qingni hadn't come, the girl would have survived in one breath, but she would have been eaten by the wild beasts in the mountains and forests in the end. This world does not restrict her as much as the previous worlds. Su Qingni's soul is also larger, and the things in the soul are also smuggled over. She flipped her right hand, and a small purse appeared in Su Qingni's palm. This purse is a storage bag, the lowest kind, with a space of only 1 cubic meter, but it is already very good to be able to bring it to this world. The higher-level storage bags, storage bracelets, storage rings, etc., cannot be smuggled into this world at all. There are not many things in the storage bag. In addition to some gold and silver and some medicines purchased on Earth, there are only a few sets of clothes and a dagger, nothing else. Things with immortal tools and spiritual energy cannot be brought over, and hot weapons cannot be brought over. Su Qingni bit her little finger and dripped blood on the storage bag. This kind of low-level storage bag can be used by dripping blood to recognize the owner. Su Qingni did not want to consume her spiritual consciousness, so she adopted this method. As for the problem that the storage bag still recognizes the original owner after she left, Su Qingni said that it was just a small storage bag. She looked down on such things and left it to the original owner. Well, the soul of the original owner of this body is still in the body, and he is not dead yet. Su Qingni's situation with the original owner is the same as the situation with Su Qingni in the first world, but now the original owner is in a coma, so she can use the original owner's body freely. After successfully dripping blood to recognize the owner, Su Qingni opened the storage bag, took out a box of anti-inflammatory drugs from it, and took out 3 pills according to the doctor's instructions, swallowing them into her stomach. The effect of the medicine was not that fast, so Su Qingni took out a cloak and put it on, leaning against a big tree to rest. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.